did win the toss. Back to accept the ball for the Eagles. Glenn Young, Ray Ellis, and Major Everett. 3 young run-back people. And as you mentioned, this St. Louis bunch has good special teams. Here's O'Donoghue's kick. The man from Dublin, Ireland, has it away. It's a hanger, but Young has it at the 9-yard line. Young brings it out to the 27-yard line, and the crowd whoops it up. And remember, in Philadelphia, the crowd does participate in the football game. We'll try to keep abreast of what's happening on the outside as well as on the playing field. Here's the Eagle offense that has been getting a little bit better each week. Jaworski, the quarterback, a good quarterback right now, and as Charlie Waters said, maybe having his best season. Wilbert Montgomery, a super running back in there. Hubie Oliver, an underrated fullback, and Carmichael and Quick, 2 very good receivers. Walters, Kinney, Morris, Baker, and Sizemore is hurt. He'll be working against Bubba Baker. We'll watch that contest. Vito Cav is your tight end.
Veteran offensive line.
First and 10 call. Jaworski just short of that 30-yard line. Straight drop back, 3-step drop, dumps it to Montgomery. Montgomery's got Baker in front of him and Morris, and Wilbert gets almost to the 40-yard line. Move the sticks. Baker made the tackle from the defensive end spot. Here's that defense, and they do a lot of stunning. Bubba Baker obtained from Detroit, playing left end, not right end. Mark Duda, the rookie from Maryland. Elo Grooms obtained from New Orleans. An underrated Curtis Greer. Here's the problem. Baker, Aarons, Harris, they have to play better. Cedric Mack, Wayne Smith, Young at the corners. Lee Nelson Perrin, leading tacklers on this defensive team. Using a lot of the clock up. Tailback handoff. Good defensive play. Harris came up, number 50, and Aarons to keep Wilbert from maybe a yard or 2-yard gain. There he is. He is weighing only about 189 pounds. He's amazing. Charlie, what about when you tackle him?
Well, I didn't tackle him very much, Brookie. He was always running away from me, running around me, running through me. Well, he brings a lot of respect to this Philadelphia offense.
Is he strong or is he fast? What is he?
Well, he's both. He's strong and fast. He's got everything that it takes to be a great back in the NFL.
Strong and fast. That's a heck of a combination, isn't it? 2nd down and 8. Jaworski taking a lot of time. Remember, this defense stunts a lot, maybe too much. Montgomery looking for a hole, but it's closed up beautifully.
That's the situation we were talking about at the top of the show, Brookies. They want to be able to stop the run, to force them into the passing situation, and maybe make some big. St. Louis has only got 2 interceptions on the year. They've got to maybe, with this stunning type of attack, force Jaworski to throw some errant passes.
They got to steal the ball. They got to seal off the run, though, don't they?
They've got to stop the run. That's what they got them now. 3rd and 7. This is a good situation for the Cardinals.
Eagles are 34% on 3rd down conversions. With Wilbert, they should be better than that as the year rolls on. Shotgun. Good pass, good blocking. Time. Wilbert Montgomery takes it into St. Louis territory to the 48-yard line. Bob Harris, the converted safety man that's now a linebacker, hanging on there.
You hear an awful lot about Wilbert Montgomery and how well he runs the ball, but he's a good. You'll see him coming out of the backfield and across in front of your screen, underneath the linebackers, just enough for the 1st down.
The Eagle defenders that have to work in practice say Wilbert is as tough a guy to cover as there is because he gets right up on top of you in a hurry. A 1st and 10, 2 first downs in a row for the Eagles. Opening moments, 1st quarter. Here's the draw play. It's a quick draw as Wilbert has got about 5.5 yards. Harris having to make another tackle along with Lee Nelson. Did you guys ever lead the Dallas Cowboys in tackles for the secondary?
Well, we tried not to, Brookie. That's one of the things we did was get those linebackers fired up. Because if the safeties are leading the league in tackles, it's a bad situation for your defensive team. That's the case here at St. Louis.
And play action then can ruin you, right? Because you're committing too much.
Everything.
2nd down and 5. Eagles very methodically sort of seeing what they expect, I think is the best way to say it, with Jaworski. A 5-step drop. He's going up now. He's got the up receiver. He wanted Mike Quick, but he's tackled by Bubba Baker. Gets there first, and Curtis Greer sandwiched him. He wanted Mike Quick, the 2nd-year man, up the sidelines.
Type of deal where you have the stunt coming in. Jaworski's sitting in the pocket, and sometimes traps are called by defensive players or defensive linemen making great plays. But this trap was called or sack was called because of great coverage by Cedric Mack on the outside. Jaworski looked to him and didn't have anybody to throw to. Good trap.
Mack's the rookie. They're probably expecting him to take that sideline maneuver, and he didn't do it. He held up. 3rd down and long. Cardinals are going to the roll-up defense, so they got the zone. Bubba Baker, a linebacker, really. Charlie Baker put the knock on number 7. Jaworski is down, and the ball was overthrown. He was really nailed as Charlie Baker released and hit the quarterback. Looked like it hit him right in the throat.
He's hurting. He has never missed a game since he's been with Philadelphia. That's an unbelievable stat for a quarterback. See if we can see it. 52. Baker coming around the outside, one of those long stunts. Oh, that was a good clean shot, and that hurt. He forced him to throw it in a hurry. That's what caused the incompletion.
That's 2 sacks in this series. That's a pretty good defensive rush they're putting on.
And the other thing is that they've been running those stunts, and the stunts are helping them.
He's tough, and we're going to find out how tough. Jaworski's down. In the bullpen, Joe Pisarcik. Used to be at the Giants, played Canadian ball, went to New Mexico State at Las Cruces, and this is the reason that Pisarcik is getting ready for the next offensive series. You see Maxie Runniger there looking at Ron Jaworski because Runniger will punt. That will bring up a 4th down situation, and you can't have too many quarterbacks, can you, these days, huh?
No, and they only have 2 on the team right now with Pisarcik. If he goes down, then John Shire is their next team.
Well, Pastorini is on the squad, but not officially activated. Now, Ron Jaworski is hurt.
He's hurt. Well, you know, when you see him squirming, that's a bad sign, and he's squirming out there.
This crowd has shown some animosity toward number 7. I hope they appreciate it when the fellow really gives them effort. He has been some guy.
Let's see if you'll see it again. Number 52 right in the middle of the screen. This is one of those stunts that paid off. He comes to the outside. Nobody's there to pick him up. He gets a free shot on Ron. And I talked to Ron about this yesterday. How in the world do you stay healthy every week? Boy, I work hard, and he does. He's a hard-working guy. Works out and looks like he's in great shape. Plus luck.
He shows up. Yeah, he'll be back. Maxie Runniger into punt. Had a good punting day against Denver. Stump Mitchell is back, and he is dangerous. He might be one of the best return men in football in a long time. This is a good punt going for the corner. Stumper will not fair catch it. At the 9, Mitchell. Oh, Stump Mitchell is buried, but I'll tell you, he always takes it in. He loads up and comes back. A 39-yard punt, a short return, and the Cardinal offense comes on the field for the first time.
St. Louis is hitting. Another Eagle down. Slow to get up.
When you're 0-3, it's not bad to go on the road, is it?
Oh,
you get away from the tension, you even get away from your own wife saying, come on, you guys, win the game. But you really, don't you?
That's right. Even an
hotel and vent your spleen on other people. It's not bad to go on the road.
When you go out of town, everybody's against you, even the fans, and especially the fans. And so it's bad when you're playing at home and the fans are against you.
Yeah,
so
I know.
They'd rather get away.
I always felt like our own coaches were against us, but that was just personal. Here's the penalty. Somebody, Ben Dreith and his crew will.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team number 45.
Number 45 for the Cardinals is Leonard Smith, the #1 draft, a rookie who's playing on specialty teams and nickel defenses right now. He must have really drilled somebody. Here's the offensive Cardinal team, and you got a big fellow named Plunkett there at right tackle. We'll set that Cardinal offensive team as Jim Hart wants to get on the way. Early in the first period, it's still 0-0. It's an angry crowd here at Vet Stadium because the quarterback, Ron Jaworski, has been carried out. Why did they carry him out? Could they have put him on a stretcher?
You would think that the guy's in that bad of pain. Just get him off the field without hurting him, getting him off. They should have had a stretcher out there.
Jim Hart, who's been with St. Louis way before the arch was built. Here's Anderson's first carry. Not much. Gets out to the 10-yard line. Anderson has had one good rushing day against Philadelphia. Philadelphia feels like they get on him early and discourage him from having big days is the only way they've been able to control him somewhat. A tough day against San Francisco as Anderson was nailed by that linebacker. Here's the offense. Jimmy Hart, Otis Anderson, one of the great running backs of all time. Wayne Morris, underrated blocking fullback. Pat Tilley and Roy Green, good receivers. Sharp, Steve Scott, Carlos Scott in the Bostic, Art Plunkett, the big man at right tackle, and Doug Marsh is the starting in. There's Morris, Wayne Morris carrying. Once in a while you watch Anderson out of the corner of your eye, number 24 will burn you. Roynell Young made the stop. Here's the defense. It's allowed only 50 points in 3 games. Dennis Harrison, Kenny Clark is playing great at nose tackle, and Carl Hairston. Jody Shules, the number 2 drafted linebacker. Jerry Robinson, the leader there. Anthony Griggs and Joe Williams, who came from Atlanta. Roynell Young and Edwards, 2 good corners. Randy Logan and Wes Hopkins, good safeties. It's a good defensive club. First down and 10. Roy Green's the motion. Handoff going weak side. Anderson behind Morris. Is good block. Anderson breaks out over the 30 to the 33 and give Wayne Morris E on that. Hopkins made the tackle.
They've got 2 offensive linemen starting today that are not the normal starting players in the position. Watch OJ run up there, and it's good blocking by line, good blocking by 24 Anderson. I mean, Morris. And I tell you, they're questioning whether OJ is running that ball with hitting it up in there, and you can see right there how hard he hit that ball up here. When he saw the crease, he's just a smart back. When he sees a crease, he runs with a lot of power.
He weighs 222. He can load up and run over you.
Oh, you betcha. He was one of the hardest I ever tried to tackle.
2 first downs in a row. Here's the same play. This time, Eagles are ready for it. Looked like Carl Hairston stood things up over there, and then Joel Williams finished off. Remember, though, that this Anderson has over 5,000 yards in a quicker time than any running back except Earl Campbell, right?
Rookie, he's averaging 85 yards a game for every game he's played in the NFL. That's an unbelievable statistic. And St. Louis is starting off strong. They're moving the ball. That play there wasn't very good, but they have done well in all of their games this year at the beginning of the ball game.
Big Dan Deerdorf is back in St. Louis. He injured his knee against Dallas. He's got a couple more weeks.
Probably got a couple bass in the boat right now.
And a 6-pack. Here's Morris making a good move to the 40-yard line. Wayne Morris cutting, waiting for some pursuit to miss him, really run by. Schultz and Williams had to make the tackle there. St. Louis has got it moving. Scores from elsewhere. Kansas City 3-0 over Miami in the first quarter. Kansas City the next opponent for the St. Louis Cardinals next week. Cincinnati finally getting on top of somebody, at least early, 7-0. First quarter action over Tampa Bay.
Interception by Ken Riley there took that 7 points.
Offense still didn't get the touch, huh? Shotgun time. 3rd down and call it 4. Oh, it's not shotgun. I'm sorry. Jim Hart took the snap. A good tackle by Herm Edwards, and Roy Green couldn't hang on. And Birdsong's going to have to make his first punt.
There's a shot of Herman Edwards, 46, coming on the field. Free agent. Boy, and he's a clever ball player. He is. He uses all his talents. Boy, and you can't keep those free agents down. He reads his play. And he knows that St. Louis needs about 3 or 4 yards to make the first, and he was waiting for that play. Good play by Herman Edwards.
So you might as well run a little deeper route, right?
Yeah, just a little something.
Roy Green's got the speed to burn you if they'll ever use it. Birdsong, who hasn't had a punt blocked in his 3 years in this league. A little bit of a low snap. He gets this off. It's not a very good punt. He is the NFC's second best punter. It's going to get a good bounce. This is Hoover. Hoover's buried at the 11-yard line. Good coverage by St. Louis again. Roy Green came down under that to make the tackle. That's getting even time. A 47-yard punt. There's no score. Jaworski is on the bench.
Right there, number 40, Randy Love, saves the block punt. You'll see just to the left of him, the left of that circle, there'll be a number 24, Ray Ellis from the Eagles will be coming in. He's got a free shot at this punt, and watch Randy Love reach out there and grab him just enough, and it makes Birdsong shank it off the side of his foot.
The Eagles feel like they can block a punt, and Ellis is sort of the man that did it against San Francisco, so they work on that. They must work 20 minutes on that one day.
They think that they can get a punt, and I guarantee you it's going to affect that punter more than anything else.
Right now, that's Joe Pisarcik who's taking his first snaps. Ron Jaworski is under examination. He has an injured jaw, but he is conscious. That's all we know right now. Jaworski's jaw is injured, but he's conscious. Oliver gets his first carry at fullback. The Rockman had a very good total game against the Denver Broncos a week ago. He's not big, but he's a load.
Oh, he's a great back. I think he might be the most underrated back in the NFL right now. If we have anything to do about it, we're going to change that, because I really think this guy's a great
all-around player.
All-around player, great fullback. Does it all.
See that average? 4.4 a shot for a 10th round draft choice here a year ago. That isn't too shabby, is it?
Yeah.
Second down, and call it 7. As Pisarcik goes sort of a semi-roll left. He's being rushed and dropped and overthrows everybody. And Pisarcik is down now as Curtis Greer drilled the second quarterback.
Pisarcik, this is the 3rd time we've seen him this year, Brookie, in 4 games in the NFL. Pisarcik's had to come off the bench and relieve Jaworski. He came off the bench and beat San Francisco. Watch this stunt now. There's another stunt coming around. You see, like Eli Groom, 75, and that's what we talked about. They want to put him in a pass situation, and maybe the stunts will cause an interception.
Yeah, Johnny Shara is the backup other quarterback. He would be number 3, and Pastorini's up in the stands somewhere and can't play because he's not activated. It's 3rd down and 7. Shotgun time, and Pisarcik is the trigger man. It's a screen developing, overthrows Willard Montgomery, and suddenly the tempo of the Eagle offense is spasmodic. You get drilled a few times, it takes the poise out for a while, huh?
Yes, sir. That pressure on the quarterback causes more interceptions than any great play by a defensive back, and you'll attest to that.
Yeah, but how do you block the twist? Do you stay man-to-man, or do you just start switching? How's the best way to
There's
block?
all ways of doing it. It's just a pendulum theory, but the way the Eagles do it, and I talked to Steve Kinney, the guard, he says, I like to block the zone blocking.
Stay in your place.
Stay in your zone, push him away, and then pick up the next guy that comes in, and that's the way they like to block it here in Philadelphia.
Runeker kicking from the 5. It is not a very good kick. It's going to be in Cardinal territory without even being touched. The 45, 44-yard line going in, and Stump Mitchell didn't get a chance to handle it. Right now, impetus goes for the men in red that are visiting. 5:49 left in the first period. You're looking at the Swamp Fox. Marion Campbell in his first year as head coach here in Philadelphia. He said the thing he learned when he was a head coach in Atlanta was to get a longer contract. He said he got a 5-year contract in Philadelphia. He said that was the first thing I learned about coaching, get a longer contract.
Give him time to develop a team.
A player's coach. He'll berate them and battle them, but that's behind closed doors, but nobody else is allowed to. And players love that. High formation behind Jimmy Hart. Cardinals with good field position. Roy Green takes Edwards across. Here's the toss back to the strong side. Oh, good blocking. Anderson inside the 40 in a hurry. He can shuffle along for a big guy and sort of wait and not get caught from behind. Huh?
He likes to get the ball and read what's going on defense before he decides to turn that burst on. That's what he did there. Talked to Jim Hart before the game. He said, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball a little bit more. And they'll see a lot of movement. That hurts. There's a shot of Lomax on the bench with a
he's in. When you lose quarterbacks, what does it do to the rest of the team?
Well, the other guys have got to pick up. It's somebody else. They got to prove that they're not a one-man team. And that's what Philadelphia is doing. That's what St. Louis is doing right now. Go
to a veteran like Jimmy Hart or Pisarcik, it's a good deal. Here's a late handoff. Anderson scoots through it to the 31-yard line. I tell you, that offensive line's coming off for St. Louis. Carl Hairston had to make the tackle from across the field.
Little trap block. See the movement going across the screen. That's one of the things that hurts Jim Hart. He says, I can't get an audible because the guys are moving across. A good block by Joe Bostic, 71 right there. I tell you, St. Louis is moving right down the field. They're sticking to their plan.
Carl Hairston, one of the great scrambling defensive ends around. He'll chase it down from behind. The numbers on Anderson already. 4.5 minutes left. This is Morris getting tapped. Flags are down. Flags are down in that holding offensive line area. What do they call that big kid Plunkett, the USS Nevada? Huh? How big is he? He's about 302, isn't he?
Well, Plunkett's big, but the real big one is Carlos Scott.
He's that kid from El Paso.
And he says he on the program, he says he weighs 300 pounds. I guarantee you, Brookie, if they say they weigh 300, tack on another 15, 20 pounds.
I bet he eats 40 burritos in a shot, you know? Don't you imagine?
Yeah. But, you know, they say he's really good. He said he doesn't look like a player, but just by the way he stands because he's so wide.
Offensive holding, number 70.
Number 70
that's Plunkett.
For holding. That's Plunkett, the big man we were talking about.
And he's got a handful on Bigfoot out there, Dennis Harrison.
Clock Clark is hurt too, isn't he? The fellow that was playing right tackle and center also got injured, but they've got some young bulls here. They sort of want to look at these young people. We've got to keep rebuilding. It's called evolution, I guess. First down, and call it 22. Screen the motion then. Toss back to Anderson. Good block by Morrison. The fans think that the Eagles have it. Kenny Clark forced the fumble. And Herm Edwards came up with it. Edwards can pick your pocket.
Oh, he's a crafty little guy. On this toss to the outside, you'll see Ken Clark come through and strip the ball out. Turnover by Philadelphia. They've got the ball with no score.
You know.
4:17 left in the first period. A beautiful day in Philadelphia. You talk about a crisp Indian summer afternoon, 65 degrees, and the place is crazy with Eagle fans. Eagle, as they call him in Philly. Right now, Joe Pisarcik is in there. Ron Jaworski was carried off with an injured jaw. He was knocked out. He's conscious now. Here's Pisarcik going deep for Mike Quick. Quick bumping into. They've got a flag down. Let's see if it's called on number 44, Wayne Smith, or if it's being called on Mike Quick.
They're discussing it. They got that new rule this year. They've changed it, so incidental contact is not supposed to be a penalty.
Looked like Wayne Smith may have been looking, though, back to the player instead of looking for the ball.
That's that deep threat, Mike Quick.
He's a hurdler. You know, Nehemiah only beat him by a few tenths of a second in the high hurdle. This kid can run.
Tell what this is right here. It's the very end of the play.
Defensive pass interference. Defense 44.
It's an awfully close call when you're both going for the football that way.
Rookie, I couldn't tell whether he was just going for the ball or just sort of veered over in front of Quick and let Quick run into him. He did trip over him. But was he going for the ball, or did he just think he was going to get beat and veered in front to stop Quick from getting the ball deep?
Well, you and I know what Wayne Smith's feeling like. Nobody likes the quarterback, right? I tell you, you can't.
Boy, you're out there by yourself.
A 1st and 10 for the Eagles now. Not a completion, but the flags are down. All counts. Montgomery's the motion man. Pisarcik, straight drop. He's got time. Dumps it. This is the Rockman Oliver, the fullback. He was a good pass receiver, rolls to the 15-yard line. Room's wrapping him up there.
Soft little pass out into the flat to Hubie Oliver and let him run with it. He's got 10 catches this year going into this ball game. Sargent reads the defense well. No use to throw the ball down there if he's not sure of it. Just get it off to Oliver right there at this point, coming off the bench.
Good block by Stan Walters. He took Greer down inside and really opened up that whole side for that little flare. 2nd down and a foot. Rockman's got it. Oliver inside the 15 to the 14. Aarons, the linebacker, banging in there. Scores. Dallas on top of New Orleans, 7-0. What was the touchdown there by the Cowboys?
Drew Pearson catches a touchdown pass. I think New Orleans is a good ball club.
Danny White hit him, huh? That's the guy. That is the quarterback in Dallas. At least today, huh? 1st and 10. The Eagles with a drive. That big flag was dropped that helped. Pisarcik being blitzed, dumps it out in the flat and misses Wilbert Montgomery and is dumped by Dave Aarons. New England bouncing back in a tie with Pittsburgh in the first period.
You see Pisarcik looking over to the bench. They have not done very well on this 20-yard line in this year. This is their main goal, that and short yardage plays. They just don't get points. The Philadelphia fans are raving, get the ball in the end zone. The Philadelphia defense is saying, hey, get some points out of the deal. Here they are, 2nd and 10. Good blitz by St. Louis to put pressure on them.
A 2nd down and 10. Incomplete pass by Pisarcik. The man out of the bullpen. That's Quick going into the slot. Young Mike Quick. Pisarcik rush, dumps it off. Incomplete pass, intended for Vito Cab, the big kid from Penn State. Al Baker put big pressure on the quarterback.
Well, the stunt's paying off for St. Louis. Al Baker kisses Joe Pisarcik.
I'm sorry.
Not with affection.
Oh, okay, good. He is big, though. Bubba Baker, when he walks in the room, you know, he cuts off all the light. He is a giant.
Big man, moved over from the right defensive end to the left defensive end. Not, says he likes, what would we call that, Russ? He says, I like to just bull him on my rush.
Bull rushing.
Bull rushing.
A timeout's called. Pisarcik goes over to perhaps have an equipment check, like his nose guard. Talking to Dick Wood on the sidelines. Pisarcik is in the dressing room being x-rayed. His jaw is injured. He is conscious, but he was carried off. And I mean carried. Don't forget, later today, the second half of the doubleheader. Washington at Seattle. Redskins 2-1, and Seattle, of course, with McCormick as the general manager and Knox as the coach, and Zorn as the quarterback. It looks like they got a pretty good ball club. The Rams against the Jets. What are the Jets up to? Well, we'll find out this afternoon. The NFL today starts it all off for us on CBS, and then you get to see good football. What a day on the East Coast. Is this the nicest day you've ever had in Philadelphia?
Never played in weather like this in Philadelphia, ever.
I took you down to South Philly yesterday, and we had those hoagies and watched the people down at the market. You enjoyed it, didn't you?
Yeah, I like that, Brookie, but I tried not to talk with the Texas drawl down there. I let Brookie do all the ordering for me and everything.
I heard you were running through the streets, looked like Sly Stallone heading for the museum steps there. You saw the numbers on what a day it is. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League is prohibited. That's known as a disclaimer, folks. 3rd down and 10. A big play for the Eagles in this first quarter. Mike Hoover's in there. And Harold Carmichael, 3 outside receivers, and you're looking at the Eagles shotgun. Pisarcik is a big, strong football player. He gets a little rush going deep, overthrows. Hoover out of the end. Baker again shot, and Pisarcik is down now and on the ground at the 23-yard line. The second and last Eagle quarterback is down, and Ibal Baker is the one that laid it on.
Well, this thickens the plot right here, Brookie, for the green team. They don't have on their depth chart anybody that has played quarterback other than John Shire, who was a great quarterback in the Canadian Football League, won Rookie of the Year up there, but he's hurt.
He's got hamstring problems.
This is another stunt by the Cardinals. Well, this is the bull rush by number 60 on the left side of your screen, Baker. We couldn't see what happened to Pisarcik, but he was under pressure. The St. Louis game plan is working. There's Shire, 21. We saw him in practice pull his hamstring. I mean, pull it to where he was hopping off the field.
What's he going to run? Split T stuff? I'm trying to think what they ran at UCLA when he played there. Canadian ball's an extra wide field. He's got to make some adjustments here.
It's the old Tom Matty days, huh?
Yeah, John's a very intelligent player, but Swamp Fox says we're going to have to win this one with defense. That means you got to shut down the other guy's offense all the way down.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Of course, he's on the field right now to hold for extra point for the field goal attempt, but
Otho Davis and Ron O'Neill and the good doctor looking at another Eagle quarterback on the deck. Now, you know, Jerry Sizemore has a very bad right shoulder. And no matter what you say, everybody knows when you're playing hurt against him. And Baker just ran through his right arm that time.
That was the outside rush, the bull rush that Baker calls it. You see a shot right there. He's getting a lot of coaching right there.
Tony Franklin is having a lot of time to think about what will be a rather short field goal.
You know, this whole Eagle team right now has got to be concerned about the situation. And here they are. Their quarterback, who has never, ever missed the ball game because of injuries, in the locker room with the jaw. You see Pisarcik getting up slowly with the jaw injury.
I bet you Marion Campbell starts breathing again now, too. Boy, they have good trainers, great medical facilities in this league now. You know that?
Well, they need it. Everybody's getting so big and fast.
Here's the barefooted one that won his first NFL game for the Eagles a week ago with a 43-yarder. This will be it'll be held at the 22, so it's a 32-yard field goal attempt. Johnny Shara, the almost quarterback, is the holder. Snap, kick, looks pretty good. Wow. That baby almost made the upper deck, where Mike Schmidt hits a few of them around. Looks like he's on a roll, huh?
He kicks them. He says, I kick the extra points and the kickoffs the exact same way. I kick them hard and I kick them long.
A big three-pointer, though, when you think that they had about a 35-yard flag drop to keep the drive alive with the number 2 quarterback. Looks like that stunning Cardinal defense is going to raise heck, though, with the blocking patterns the whole afternoon. I believe St. Louis is here to play a game.
It's working. They got the 3 points was a result of a fumble, and that's what the St. Louis team needs to do on defense. They need to get some fumbles and get some turnovers.
Ron Jaworski has just come out of the tunnel and is coming back to the bench. And I told you he was a tough dude. Man, he's putting on a helmet. He thinks he's going to play again, and he probably will. There's Joe now. He's being worked on. It's Ron's turn to strap back on the equipment and go get it. Looks like a little rib action there on Joe Pisarcik, huh?
I think they should make it a rule, Brookie, with those little rib pads that they designed a couple years ago. I think the quarterbacks need to wear them whether they want to or not, because, boy, they're so vulnerable.
Sure. Franklin's kickoffs sometimes do not reach the end zone. This is a good high kick, good hang time, and Stump Mitchell comes roaring back out. And Mitchell diving to the 23-yard line. You kick off to Stump Mitchell, you better get down inside that 20 and head him off, but he is coming right at you.
He's exciting. He turns it upfield, and he believes that he can do it every time. There's a shot at Jaworski. He's an amazing, tough guy. He's an amazing kid.
Jaworski, of course, was hit by Charlie Baker. The Baker guys are doing all the damage. Charlie Baker came through a legal hit on a blitz, and Ron stayed in there to get that last second on a pattern and got drilled right in the jaw, right in the throat area. Knocked him out. They carried him off, and then Jaworski got knocked down that last series. So right now we got the Jim Hart offense on the field for St. Louis. Anderson behind blocking, good hold. Anderson to the 25-yard line. Reggie Wilkes, number 51, making the tackle there. Good defensive team that Anderson's working against. They've allowed only 50 points. One year they allowed only 13 at 81. They gave up 13 points a game. Now you can win a lot of football games when you're only giving up 13 points.
And I bet that year they scored a lot of points too on interceptions. That's the way this defensive team thinks. They think they can score points.
That's the way your Dallas team always felt. I don't know if you always did it, but you always felt that.
You always want to believe that you can score points on defense.
2nd down and 7. Here's Jim Hart back to throw, being rushed, and gets a Roy Green at the 43-yard line. What a good catch and a good throw by Jim Hart. Edwards tackled him there.
You see on this play-action pass, Jim will fake the handoff, and when you get that running game going, you can run the play-action passes. They mean a lot more to that defensive team. Fakes the run right there. It holds the linebacker second. A good pass by Jim Hart. Green has gone down and acted like he was going deep, and he's cussed it off right over the linebacker's head right there. Good pass and catch.
I noticed St. Louis is using aggressive blocking on some of those pass plays. They're going right out and getting Kenny Clark and those guys and getting them on the line of scrimmage. A 17-yard gain. Hart to Roy Green. 1st and 10, St. Louis back in it in a hurry. Here's the drive. Number 32 looking for somewhere to go and gets dumped at the 45.5-yard line. Good defense that time. They cut him back to the inside and then ganged him. Harrison and Griggs combining for that tackle. Bostic, number 71. Now you're looking at Ron Jaworski, excuse me. He's back out there. Looks like he's going to be getting ready to go.
Still looks like he's a little bit of a pain here.
Well, sometimes great players play better when they're a little bit nicked. We'll see. 2nd down and 7. Green's the motion man. Hart being swarmed under now as Kenny Clark was the first one to come through and scatter the quarterback out of that pocket. And then Joel Williams finished him off. There's the coach in his 4th year with the Cardinals, Jim Hanifin. Sometimes he gets so exuberant on the sidelines that he almost gets caught in the cord, gets choked with that headset.
That's a little stunt there by Philadelphia, 71. Ken Clark flushes hard up into the pocket. And ultimately, Dennis Harrison makes the tackle. Good sack.
They're not a big sack team, but the Eagles are a good defensive team. It's 3-0 at the end of the 1st quarter. In the end zones right now are the Liberty Bells. In both end zones, entertaining these people. As long as you keep those spectators in the seats, it's all right to show those beautiful girls around there. There he is, the #2 draft for the Eagles. Jody Schultz, a very fine young linebacker.
The body snatcher, they call him.
Jerry Robinson nicknamed him the body snatcher because he can grab people and just throw them down.
He's injured right now.
Jim Hart from shotgun. Big pressure by Harrison. Harrison has it fumbled. And the Eagles are going to recover. Dennis Harrison. They're fighting for the ball. Logan has it inside the 10-yard line. Carl Harrison caused the fumble. And Logan came up with it. And you're right. Defense can score.
Watch Carl Harrison, 78. Right-hand side. Get Jim Hart from the blind side. Carl Helsher told us yesterday, he says, you know, I watched the films of how I played last year, and it really disappointed me. There was that me out there in the field, and I'm going to change the style of play. I'm going back to the old making things happen type of attack, and boy, he made something happen there, and there's the veteran, Randy Logan, 41, taking it down to the 8-yard line.
#7 is the quarterback, and suddenly the stadium is very much alive. Jaworski back in there. The crowd that used to boo him loves him. Handoff, Jaworski. Fumble, and the Cardinals get a ball back. Hubie Oliver fumbles it right back to the Cardinals.
Boy, that'll quiet the crowd down in a hurry.
Wayne Smith, that beleaguered cornerback we were talking about, got the ball. That's worth a high five. Don't blame you at all, Wayne.
Didn't look like anybody could see the ball. It's a couple of Eagles right there. If they'd have just turned around and fallen down, they could have recovered, but you just can't tell out there on the field. Alert play by Wayne Smith.
Also a big pickup for St. Louis that their defense answered the call and gave the ball right back. There's Hannafin. See, I told you he's going to stretch that court. He needs a giant extension cord. He's out of the field half the time.
I bet he's chewing 7 pieces of chewing gum at the same time.
50 years old last week. A real good guy. Another player's coach. First down, that ball's deep. Hart, inside drive. Morris to the 10, maybe. The Eagles are #1 overall defensively in the NFC, 5th against the rush, or 6th against the rush, and they don't mind giving up a little rushing yardage as long as nobody throws the ball coast to coast.
The Eagles could you believe, Rookie, that I actually got in the Eagle mood room yesterday in the training room?
Is that some darn play? There's Carl Hairston, and he's coming off limping, which he does, and he also returns. The mood room is something they have down in Otho Davis's locker room here at the Eagles, and a voice talks to you and tells you how relaxed you can be, right?
Oh, it was. I just knew somebody was going to come in and throw a bucket of water on me. Here was an ex-cowboy for 12 years, and I'm sitting in the Eagle mood room.
They accepted you pretty well, though. Wilbur Montgomery said Charlie was always a classy player, and I thought that was a compliment from on high. You know?
Because he always ran over me.
He did.
He liked the way I played.
Greg Brown is in there for Harrison. Handoff. Morris out to the 15. Ran in there, and Kenny Clark and Griggs tackle there. That Ken Clark, talk about a free agent acquisition that's invaluable. Out of Syracuse, and Charlie Johnson was the big Pro Bowler here, but Kenny Clark took over that nose position and plays it like a fiddler.
That's Jerry Robinson hurt right there. These two teams play. They bash each other.
Carry him in, carry him out. Most of them come back, though. It's 3-0 here in the second. "13 minutes and 49 seconds left before halftime, and this has already happened. Both quarterbacks for the Eagles have been up and down. Bruised jaw for Jaworski. He's back. Bruised sternum, which is the breastbone. If you want to know what the sternum is, it's really just cartilage there, so that can be very painful. And Jody Schultz has a bruised knee. Hairston is out. Robinson is back on his feet but walking off, and that's just the Eagles.
That bruised sternum, you mentioned that. I had a bruised sternum one time. It only hurt when I breathed.
Oh, and you can't.
I mean, it hurts all the time. Well, quit breathing, the trainer tells me.
These are not very serious injuries, or obviously we wouldn't be so jovial, but they're having to almost platoon the trainers now. They send out 2 different guys every other time. It's going to be a bitter, knocking game. And the Cardinals came in without a win yet this year, and that can make you a little bit nasty. They're playing on. Jim Hart on 3rd down and call it 3. At the 15. Play to Anderson. Anderson. It's going to be close. Did he get the 1st down? Joel Williams stacks it up there. It's going to be close. They're going to bring in the chains. Let me identify the Zebras today. Ben Dreith is your referee. Umpire's Tommy Myers. The head linesman is Dale Williams. The line judge is Billy Reynolds. Back judge is Don Wedge. He's the fellow that used to watch you closely back in the secondary. Side judge Eddie Ward, and the field judge is Ron Spittler. And they do care, and they have families, and they're nice people. They make mistakes a little bit, but everybody. Not close.
Not that much.
You go for it. You can't go for it this deep. It's about 2 inches. Greg Brown says, are they going to go for it? No, here comes Birdsong and the punting team. Hoover is the young man that's back at the Eagle 40 as they get ready to try to get possession of it.
Remember on the last punt now, Ray Ellis, number 24, almost got in there and blocked Birdsong, and he shanked it off the side of his foot. Now this can create some great field position for Philadelphia if St. Louis can't get the ball out of here.
And the Eagles think they can block it. The team thinks like that. Sometimes things happen. Birdsong is getting a lot of jitterbugging in front of him. Roy Green is the up back. He's got to stop moving too. There, now he sets. They're using all of it. They're trying to get an offsides for a 1st down. Oh, this is pretty good hang time. Good punt by Birdsong. Hoover fair catching at the 36, and the whole crowd breathes. Don't go away. Jim Hart and the group are going to rest for a while, and Montgomery's back on the track. That is not a big Ewer Brenner. That is Floyd Peters, an old teammate of mine with the Eagles, but the defensive coordinator and the assistant head coach for Haniford's team, and he's the one that's brought this new stunning defense in that has been very, very effective today.
It has today, but it's been maligned the first 3 games of the year. That he lives and dies by. He created the silver rush and the gold rush from Detroit and San Francisco in years past.
Play action pass. Jaworski chased by Baker. Good throw to Mike Quick. Quick has it at the full 6-yard line. What a throw by Jaworski, and he has words with Bubba Baker. 7 and 60 just tangled verbally.
Another play action pass. Fakes the run, and Mike Quick is running across the field. Jaworski slides over. Boy, Mike Quick is really doing a good job this year for the Eagles. You'll see 60 on the right-hand side of your screen there. Bubba Baker. After the play, he threw him down the turf. He didn't have to do that, and he's got him by the throat, too.
That's a 2-point takedown. Montgomery dancing inside. Hit hard. Drives inside the 40. Second effort. Now almost a fight. Charlie Baker mixing it up. Also big number 78, Elo Grooms, went at it with someone. And these two teams have never liked one another.
Just getting involved.
Motus was playing fullback, and Berge was playing defense, in the 70s.
2 teams play when I was Dallas. Nobody's going to come out alive in this one.
Tom Brookshier with Charlie Waters at Vet Stadium. Eagles, Cardinals. It's a good game. 3-0. Single back is Wilbert Montgomery with the ball. Oh, what a move with the line of scrimmage. There's some feet. There's some feet. Vinnie Perrin has to make the tackle. Wilbert made that one by himself.
Great move to the outside. Boy, the guy's great burst to get to the outside. There's a shot 23 of Vinnie Perrin, second-year man from Alabama.
You know, Wilbert looks in those standings and he sees Walter Payton up there at the top and Andrews at the top, and deep inside a little fire starts. He thinks, my name is not there yet because he only carried the ball 10 times.
He's had trouble with his knee, and he said, you know, I just don't think it's getting any better than this. Let's get out there and play. I'm going to play with it just the way it is. I want those yards.
It's that pride that makes, of course, great ground game. It's 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Jaworski back in there. And with a clear head. Jaworski unloaded. Hubie Oliver trying to make the catch on the sidelines, and Duda right in the quarterback's face.
You're at ground level. That's 52 in front of you, Charlie Baker. Coming off the chucking the tight end. That's not letting the tight end off the line of scrimmage and closing in on Hubie Oliver right here. But the key to that play was the pressure by Mark Duda in the middle that caused the errant pass.
Charlie Baker said he wants to get more recognition. Keeps playing good tackles like that, he'll be all right. He'll get it. 2nd down and 10. Linebackers are a different breed, too. Vito Cab, the tight end's in motion. Jaworski has it batted away and intercepted by Grooms. Mark Duda knocked it, and Grooms came out with it. Almost had to fair catch it.
Rookie, that's what we talked about, that St. Louis feels like if they could get some stunts going and pressure Jaworski and the Philadelphia Eagles into throwing the ball, that maybe they could get some big plays. Mark Duda is starting at the tackle position, number 73. He's a rookie from Maryland. He taps the ball up in the air, and a great play. Elo Groom sees 7 points right there, 78. He thinks he's going to go all the way. Of course, he fumbles out of bounds. He's not used to carrying that ball.
Stan Walters, the veteran offensive left tackle that tried to retire early, is on the field, and he is hurt. It's a tough game. It's 3-0 Philadelphia. That's Otho Davis on the right, and Stan Walters, the big man from Syracuse, who tried to retire this year when Moraldi, the young draft choice, went down. They called him back up, and Marion says, "Get over here."
On that last play, you'll see number 73 right there, Mark Duda, on a pass rush. He doesn't get credit for this. You'll never see it in the stat book, but watch him throw his left hand up in the air just when Jaworski gets ready to release the ball.
Boy, what an effort.
Quarterback can't see anything, and it taps off his hand and causes the interception. Boy, I really feel like that's a stat that you should keep. Not you get it here at Philadelphia. They keep hurries. That's where they hurry the quarterback up. In a forced error in tennis is what it's very
good idea.
Similar to.
Dallas now 10-3 over New Orleans. That's a field goal of 19 yards by Anderson. Detroit and Minnesota. Minnesota 10-0.
Archie Manning up there now. Cincinnati 20-0 over Tampa Bay in the 2nd quarter.
Stan Walters, I believe he had a bad leg. He was in the training room when we were watching, treating it, and it looks like it's one of those things that you just can't get well.
He had it stepped on, and you can see cleat marks just running about 5 inches down his calf.
Dills, by the way, is playing quarterback up at Minnesota. That was a 3-yard touchdown pass, but scored for the Vikings. But you're right, Archie's up there. Hart, good blocking this time. A lot of time. You can't give Hart there. And the receiver's down. Tilley is going to get the flag dropped, and Herm Edwards is going to be called for interference. This little guy is so clever. Once in a while, you've got to grab him, don't you, Charlie?
Yeah, that's about the only lasso him. They're going to call it against St. Louis. Against Tilley.
Pushing, huh? He really is clever.
Oh, that's funny. You see the play. They're laying on the ground, and you're not real sure where it happens. And Herm Edwards gets up, the defensive back starts pointing at them. Both of them are pointing at each other. Last real true one-on-one confrontation left in the NFL.
Offensive pass interference, number 83.
Tilley, of course, averages, or he has over the last 5 years, 5 catches a game. That's the average. That is an incredible stat.
That is an incredible stat. On this replay, Jim Hart's in the pocket, throws it in there. Herman Edwards had already established his position on the inside, and Tilley just ran into him.
There's 2 guys you know what to play Harts with. They're both good at it. Fumble by Anderson, but recovered quickly by the alert offensive lineman in there. I believe it's Carlos Scott, maybe the center. No, it's Louis Sharp that got that. A fast move by a gigantic person. Is Anderson known as a fumbler?
Let's put it this way, he fumbles more than Morris. Morris hadn't fumbled the ball in almost 500 carries. But Anderson has fumbled the ball because he's so elusive. And when you're making those little juke moves, you see those backs around that make those juke moves. They'll hold the ball out there to keep their balance. It's just like holding their hands out.
And if you're a flamboyant type runner, you got to gamble once in a while. Hart with a lot of time hits Tilley. No flag this time. Tilley almost at the first down, but short of that 40. Herman Edwards hanging on, and they're having some words too.
Jim Hart, number 17, his quarterback. This is his 18th year in the NFL. He's thrown for over 5,000 passes, and only 2 other quarterbacks in the NFL have done that. Unitas and Tarkenton. He's thrown for over 35,000 yards in his career. And 5,000 was against me in 1973.
They're going to measure that. Hart is 2 of 3 for 36 yards. First down. It didn't look like Tilley got over the line, but the officials, of course, are down there. Hart now sort of humming along. He doesn't know if this is last year or not. He said he wouldn't mind being sort of a player coach with somebody and work with a young quarterback. Maybe not in St. Louis, but somewhere.
Says he feels more comfortable with his role with St. Louis this year. But if they tried to phase him out, that possibly he would consider playing with somebody else.
He's like having a doctor on your staff, a doctor of a quarterback. Right? Drive series inside. Morris makes a good cut. Flags are down. Morris gets to the 36-yard line. Cowher, number 57, made the tackle there.
Cowher's in there replacing Terry Robinson at the linebacker spot. Of course, Jerry Robinson calls the, looks like the preliminary calls offsides against Philadelphia.
Carl Hairston sometimes flexes a little bit from that right defensive end spot, and maybe when he gets up on the ball, he might have been offsides.
Defense, number 51, encroachment, lined up in the neutral zone.
Reggie Wilkes is over the line of scrimmage from the linebacker spot.
He's anxious to get a chuck, is what they call an NFL term, on the tight end. He's in there replacing Jody Schultz. What we call so many, it's depth, you know. You got to have 49 good ones week in, week out.
Especially when you play team defense, and that's the only way you can get it in this league, especially with that 34. Hart, 3-step drop. Boy, we've seen that a lot. Roy Green out of bounds inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, and Roy Dale Young had no chance.
Jim Hart told us in the locker room yesterday, he says, when I see Logan up on the line, Randy Logan, the strong safety up on the line of scrimmage, you can't tell by this, but when I see it on the line of scrimmage, we've got an automatic where we're going to throw a little out route. You see 41 right there. He just threw the ball over him, and when Logan gets up on the line of scrimmage, that dictates something to Hart, that little out route's going to be open. Boy, that's what 18 years experience will do for you.
And he knows that safety can't help the corner.
He can't help, and it dictates what the coverage is.
And I'll tell you, Roy Green is one of the fastest players in all of football. He'll run you less than a 4.3, which is startling. Toss back to Anderson. Gets a good block from Morris. What a good block. Gets to the 22-yard line. Wayne Morris really cut the cornerback down.
Boy, in the NFL, you've got to have a blocking fullback, and we've got 2 great underrated fullbacks in the NFL right here. You watch 24 come up and put a block on Logan to get Anderson on the outside. And that Logan's responsibility is turn the play in, and it was not especially a bad play by Logan, but just a great play by Morris.
Just cut his legs off the knees, didn't he?
Beautiful play.
Tailback is Anderson. That fullback that just blocked is Wayne Morris from SMU. Straight handoff. Oh, what a direction change by Anderson. First down inside the 20. Let's go to New York City now to Brent Musburger and get an NFL update.
Rookie Michael Black of Detroit is set to punt from his own end zone against Minnesota. Robin Stenline comes in and blocks it, and Dave Huffman falls on it for a Viking touchdown. 3 line turnovers, and Minnesota's up by 17 points. Let's go back now to Brookie.
Those Vikings under Bud Grant, they find more ways to steal the ball, score, defense, block field goals. They've always been good at that.
Every year, same thing. Blocked, field goals, extra points.
Third and close, short yardage, 3 tight ends in there. Straight ahead, first down run by Wayne Morris. Now that's an old fullback buck. He just put it down and got it.
Oh, and it shows that the Cardinals feel pretty confident with Carlos Scott in there at the center of the run, straight ahead on this crucial situation, 3rd and 1. Of course, the strength of their team is their offensive guard, with guards Steve and Bostic are really strong in there in the middle. But when you lose Deerdorf, you got a question mark. But here it was, 3rd and 1, and they go straight over Carlos Scott, who weighs Big squash, they call him.
Big squash. At least 300. Didn't you figure that before the game?
I'm not going to ask him if he weighs over 300. If he wants to weigh 300, it's okay with me.
Cardinals on a good roll right now. 7:01 left before half. Morris changing direction. Upended. Good defensive play by Reggie Wilkes. Anderson with 47 yards on 12 carries. He might be having one of those days. Don't forget next Saturday on CBS, the U.S. Women's Indoor Tennis Championships. Barbara Potter, defending champion. Billie Jean King, of course. Carleen Bassett will be competing for the national indoor title. So join us here on CBS, 4 o'clock Eastern time for the singles final here on CBS Sports. Billie Jean King, there's a football fan. She could coach in this one. She might be able to play in this one.
Oh,
Second down and 9. Straight drop, Hart going outside. Tilley, did he get it inbounds? Not much yardage, as Herm Edwards will let you have the quick turnout. Smart man.
Jim Hart sees something, and he goes to a quick out here on the automatic. Ground, oh boy, I loved that angle right there. That's just the way it looks, rookie, out there on the field.
Feels different when you're up here, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can see things a lot better, and sure it's a lot easier to cover them up here.
Here's the big play of the game. If you don't get the first down inside the Eagle 5. Third down and 3. Crowd's getting into it. Hart dropping back. Morris out in the flat, going for the end zone for Mars. Touchdown. Tie-in, came off and ran the corner and won the race. Good throw by Jim Hart, who's on his knees now, but getting up.
That sure was a good throw by Hart. Under pressure, and that ball was laid in there perfectly. What a great veteran. You'll see it. Philadelphia's in an all-out blitz, bringing the kitchen sink and everything on the outside of the screen. There is Joel Williams coming in, putting pressure on. What a great pass. Tilley was wide open across the middle. Jim Hart couldn't even see him. You know, they're tight end. That's Doug Marsh that catches that number 80. They haven't had a dominant tight end in this attack since, well, the loss of J.V. Kane when he died several years ago. And they've had 10 tight ends with this team in the last 6 years.
10
tight ends.
O'Donohue, the man from Dublin, kicking. Perrin is holding the young safety man. Looks good. Hart is 5 of 6 for 57 yards. The Eagles don't blitz much, and I imagine they'll just stop blitzing now today. It's 7-3 St. Louis. Bill Friel, my eyes up here in the booth. I'm like Stevie Wonder without Friel here. He tells me that's the 208th career TD pass for Jim Hart. Ranks him right behind Terry Bradshaw. Quite a career. Here's the kickoff by O'Donohue. That is Glenn Young. Young comes straight up the middle and is drilled at the 21-yard line. Good coverage. Schmidt, the young man from Delaware, nearby Philadelphia here, went down under it.
Number 11, O'Donohue, kicks off, and they don't coach him to go down and cover the ball. They just coach him to kick it. He's going to watch it now.
Looks like he's bird watching somewhere or something. What's going on? Look at this. Does he have pads in those trousers? Life of a kicker. It's not easy. Those Volkswagen buses all loaded up all the time. Here's the inside drive. Montgomery to the 26, and the flags are flying. Lee Nelson, safety man, tackling him there. Let's set the offensive lines. Is Walters back in there, or is Maraldi playing at left?
Look at this right here, Brookie, number 34, Hubie Oliver. Looks like he's at the tackle position. That's a new deal. And it gets him where he can get a good blocking angle on the linebacker, Charlie Baker. And we've seen that 3 times already today.
And he's a good blocker, and he's low, and he comes right up and puts it on you.
That's the first time we've seen that this year. That's a pulling for Cardinals.
It's number 52 on the defense.
Having face mask by Charlie Baker.
First down.
Interesting story how Charlie Baker drafted by the Cardinals. And the Cardinals a draft choice. Charlie
deals. Any deal's a good deal.
I'd like to trade a few coaches I played for a draft choice.
See, there's that same set now. There's Hubie Oliver up there in the line.
1st and inches. Straight handoff. Haddix with his first carry of the day by much. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York NFL update. Brent, what you got?
Rookie, the Dallas Cowboys apparently can't stand. I'll get it. And now they're deadlocked at 10. Let's go back to Brookie.
The Saints come marching. We thought Bum had
Line went backing him up, and boy, he's a great back, Brookie.
out of sight. Boy, football's good this year. The fans will come back more and more all the time. A few of them stayed away this year, and they're on the way back. Here's the little play out in the flat toward Montgomery with a 35.5-yard line. Charlie Baker was over there, and I think Mack, the young cornerback, made that stop. Scores from other places. Brent just gave it to you. It's 10 all tie now. Not even at halftime. Detroit trailing Minnesota 17-7. Bud Grant's doing it a million different ways. Always successful. 4.5 minutes. A battering day. People have been in and out on stretchers and what have you. Mark Duda, the rookie, making the tackle. New England on top of Pittsburgh now, 14-10. The Patriots are playing.
Looking Houston.
We'll look out for what? Something's going to happen. Kansas City 6, Miami nothing in the second quarter. I'm going to ask you about that a little bit later, Mr. Waters. Right sidelines. If Perrin hadn't made the...
By the safeties. Right there, number 50, Bob Harris is the converted safety to linebacker. That block on there by Hubie Oliver, the rock man. Boy, that's why the guy's such a great back. He's a receiver, he's a runner, and a great blocker. And that was another position where he was up in the line of scrimmage, Brookie. He's up in there so he can get that block.
We asked Swamp Fox how long would Oliver be starting at fullback. He said as long as he keeps that nickname Rockman.
And he is a rock guy.
A first down call, 46-yard line. Play action pass. Jaworski going deep for Quick. He's got him. In and out, incomplete. Good coverage. Good coverage by Wayne Smith. A flag is down around the line of scrimmage. The ball was thrown well. That was a duel.
Quick's holding his eyes. He's down. Boy, Mike Quick is really showing a new dimension here for the Eagle team. They're doing things well on the ground. All of a sudden, they throw this play action pass on you. And they go for the big deep 6. If they'd have had Mike Quick in the 70s, this team would have been unstoppable.
Offensive holding, number 76.
If they'd have had him in the 70s, you'd have been up in the booth 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, you're bad.
Good coverage by Wayne Smith, too.
Yeah, it was a good recovery by Wayne Smith, and it looked like when he was reaching for the ball that his hands went into the helmet. It could have been stuck in the eye. We're just speculating.
As we said, medically, these units have been out on the field, especially on the Eagle side. Offensively now, the line of scrimmage, Sizemore at right tackle, and he's having a battle with Bubba Baker on every single snap. Baker said he had never played against Sizemore. He'd always played against Stan Walters on the other side. There's the Swamp Fox. He played in front of me. So you know he had to hustle.
How many tackles did you have to make back in those days?
Oh, well, you know, I was just all over the place. Before the game, I was really tough. Let's see what we're doing here. Mike Quick, second year, #1 draft a year ago, and a lot of people thought, gee whiz, we didn't get Tuttle. That's what the Eagles thought. This young man has turned the lights on this year so far. He ran by Louis Wright in Denver a week ago, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody make Louis Wright fall down. Fast becoming very popular in a sports-crazy city.
The key statistic with him is that he's averaging 21 yards every time he catches the ball, so that deep threat is there.
I think he's a glider, too. He gets up on you, and then all of a sudden he's running long stride.
Well, the second week of the year, you see he catches 4 for 106 yards, and then the next week he catches 6 for 152. And the last time somebody did that was 1978, back-to-back 100-yard games.
Loaded with good information, I'll tell you that. First down and 20 on the 37. Cardinals look like they're thinking pass with the nickel defense. Here comes the stunt. Jaworski under pressure gets it off to Carmichael, and Charlie Baker gets Carmichael right away. Would you say that's an emphatic tackle?
He says that he needs to get more publicity. He said, I'll just keep on hitting them, but I need to make some interceptions. He's right. It takes interceptions and big plays. We see at ground level. There's 52 coming in the screen. Baker throws in front of him.
Looks like they're zone blocking now. They're waiting, as you said, they're just going to stay in their territory and take the twist whenever it comes through their zone.
Still getting good pressure on Jaworski because he's only got 3 seconds to throw it, because one of those stunts, they're going to get to him after 3 seconds.
Second down and 13, out in the flat to Montgomery. Another good tackle. It's a good tackle on a very elusive ball carrier.
Well, they'll run that play out there to Montgomery.
You're looking at them. Nobody likes those cornerbacks, so when they have a good game, we like to say so. Don't forget, the NFL Today coming up at halftime with Brett and Irv with the scores and highlights, and then Legends of the Game with Don Maynard. Of course, became a great jet receiver.
Did he go deep on you?
He never got off the line of scrimmage. In those days, we could tie their shoelaces together.
That's not what he told me, Brookie.
Yeah, no, I retired him from the Giants. He came up with them first, but he's the legend. That other league didn't play defense for about 10 years. Third down and 12. St. Louis defense has been really tough. They can really hang their head on this one. Jaworski being chased, gets away, and now throws, trying for Hoover at the 35. There is a flag down, and that defensive line is coming after the quarterback.
Boy, they are really pressuring the Eagles, and that's what they said. That's their plan. Let's get them to throw the ball, and our stunts are going to get them.
64, decline. It's 4th down.
That's Moraldi that was guilty of grabbing Curtis Greer by the jersey.
Curtis Greer is the fastest defensive end they have on their team, and he's leading their team in sacks. Of course, Moraldi's in there replacing Stan Walters, who's out with his knees or something. His leg is hurt. We're not sure what his update is.
Greer's a real finesser, too. He's so quick coming off. A young guy, has to get the tempo. Runniger at the 29-yard line, punting. A little bit of a skyrider that may be run back. That's Dump Mitchell at the 5. Mitchell dumped at the 19. A lot of action, a lot of extracurricular action. And we're not even at halftime. 1:37 left, a 49-yard punt, and a 7-3 score, St. Louis. Coming up, the NFL Today, of course, but coming up the second half of the doubleheader. The Redskins, remember they won the Super Bowl last year, and they go against the Seahawks, a team that's on the rise. They got that Warner from Penn State who can really play. The Rams against the Jets is the other game, and I'd like to see the Jets just to see what the heck is going on with that team. No defense. That doesn't sound right. That's the doubleheader. We got a minute and a half left here. Hart has gone all the way at quarterback. Lomax's shoulder is still hurting. Anderson straight at Carl Hairston's position. Logan making the tackle.
Well, we haven't seen Stump Mitchell yet today, and there's no need to see because Otis Anderson is playing extremely well. He's running the ball up the middle. He's making the little dips and doodles that he does out there, and
that's a young offensive line that's learning.
Well, they're hitting all sides of it too. They're running to the right, the left, and up the middle.
You can see the time left. A 7-3 lead, a touchdown pass. Hart to Marsh. Toss back to 32. Look out. Dives in there after making a couple of quick moves.
Brooke, I think it's interesting to note that St. Louis is not in their 2-minute attack here. They're comfortable running the ball with a 7-3 lead. They just don't want to put the ball up in the air.
They don't want to lose it on offense. Is that would that be correct?
I think that's what we're trying to say.
Hannafin said he went home on Wednesday night to his 50th birthday party. His family gave him. These coaches, they do stay at the stadium and do the movies and charts and stuff for the next game all the time, don't they?
First time he'd been home on a weeknight since the season started.
Happy birthday, Dad. It's nice to see you. It's a tough life, but they love it. Good defensive play by Joel Williams. The linebacker played it all the way to the sidelines. And that should be the half. 7-3 St. Louis. Tom Brookshier with Charlie Waters in Philadelphia at Vet Stadium. 7-3 St. Louis score. A good touchdown pass. Hart to Marsh. A field goal by Tony Franklin. Other than that, it's been nothing but knocking. We'll be back in a minute. Back at Vet Stadium, as you know, people in St. Louis take your football seriously, and in Philadelphia, it's a very, very serious thing. I can recall when it was Sarge Owens and Bill Coleman and Charlie Johnson in St. Louis that we hated so much when we had to play him. And then it was down through the years, the Hart's been there, and it really has always been a knocking game. And I think that we sort of set that up beforehand, that we expected bodies to fly, and they have, Charlie.
A bloodbath. Although nobody's been hurt extremely bad, there's just people laying around. A lot of different, a lot of trainers coming out on the field and making sure that guys are going to live through it.
That's us there. Two old defensive backs just walking around on bad knees, huh?
Real old.
You know, the things that we take for granted, like Jaworski had 6 bad snaps in a row. You know, the snaps we really do take for granted, but you did something before the game I think people might get a kick out of seeing.
Yeah, just there's different ways of doing it, different philosophies. Here at Philadelphia, they filmed the quarterback in the center to make sure that they were getting the stats. We just tried a shot of this. This is the center right there is Carlos Scott, and the quarterback is Jim Hart. And you see his left hand, Jim's left hand is kind of out to the side. Well, instead of leaving it like that, we can roll the tape right here. They've asked Jaworski to bring his hand over to the back to protect the ball from going up and hitting and getting loose. So that's one of the things that they've done. And of course, Jim Hart does not like it like that. He would rather have it the other way because he's a passing quarterback. He would rather have it on the side. If you have a veteran center, you can get it back nose up. And this is just a simple thing. And Ron Jaworski had a quote in the paper saying this week, heck, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I fumbled 6 snaps. I got a veteran center, and I'm a veteran quarterback. It shouldn't be happening, but they've concentrated on this week. They've filmed it, and they've changed his hand. They've even got his hand. What did Swampy say? Swamp Fox said, well, we taped his wrist together to make sure. He said it was kind of hard for him to throw.
He could take the snap, but he couldn't get the throw. Oh, there's my bride there to the left, right through there by that guard rail in the stadium. We've been married for a couple of eons.
She's sitting close to you, Brookie, to make sure that you're being a good boy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Halftime stats now, and Anderson has had a big first half. He's got 59 yards on 15 carries, but let's take a look at this rather impressive a defensive job by St. Louis so far.
St. Louis is, oh, yeah, they're keeping them at bay. They're getting the turnovers. That's the biggest thing. Although St. Louis has given the ball up twice, they've got 2 balls back, and they stopped them from scoring, and they also cashed in and got 7 points on their turnover, which is one of the things we mentioned at the top of the show.
The only TD of the first half, of course, on a 3rd down that had to be made or they'd have settled for a field goal. Jim Hart does a good job of playing single-wing tailback and finds Doug Marsh, the tight end. And the blitz was on.
Full out blitz, and a little scramble work by the 18-year veteran, throws the ball. Couldn't have been a better throw right here to the tight end Doug Marsh for the touchdown. And that's the difference in the ball game, is that they cashed their turnover in for 7 points instead of 3.
Tony Franklin kicking very well, but only with the 1 shot to try for the field goal. This is Farrell fumbling it back in the end zone. He's got to run it out now. He gets on to the knees, a fumble, and it's loose. It goes out of the end zone. It will probably come out to the 20-yard line if they call it a touchback. No, they're going to call it a safety. They're going to call it a safety, and the Cardinals will have to free kick from behind the 20-yard line. Heck of a way to start the second half.
Oh, boy, I tell you, Crash Gans is the special team coach here at Philadelphia, and he has coached the #1 special team in the league. Boy, Randy Love just, wait, that's not Love, that's Farrell, just missed the ball. He just missed the ball.
Now he's got to get out. Now he fumbles it right out of his hand there. Now it's kicked inadvertently by an Eagle player. And it goes to the end zone, and it does come up with 2 points. This is a big advantage. I have seldom seen a safety not react in about 9 points because you get the ball in good field position and you sort of steam in with it. Hannafin worried, obviously worried, to turn over the opening kickoff of the second half.
Boy, that is a big play to start off the second half. They're going to get points out of it and then get great field position.
Now you're going to have Glenn Young come roaring back with this thing, and they will be inside the 50 to start out. So the defense will be hard-pressed right away. And they thought they were going to get a rest for a few minutes.
Start off the second half with bad field position.
Jaworski standing next to Dick Wood at the bottom of your screen. The Swamp Fox right in the middle of your screen. Here's the free kick by Birdsong. It's a pretty good kick. Glenn Young at the 21. Young on his feet. Good coverage, though. Boy, the special teams are battling for St. Louis. Gets out to the 37-yard line, and a pile of bodies there.
A lot of extracurricular activity going on every play between these two teams, Brookie.
Did you have that problem, too, when Dallas played St. Louis?
Every time. And when Dallas played Philadelphia the same way. Of course, whenever the fight started with me, I always picked the low-numbered guys. Those big numbers usually come with big bodies, too.
But the big guys haven't been in a fight in a long time. I used to sort of think maybe they weren't ready to fight. They'd kill us. 7-5, a weird score. Fundamental football game. Jaworski back in there. The toss back to Montgomery. Wilbert Montgomery steps through. The flags are down. Montgomery gets almost to midfield in a hurry, but there are flags all over the place.
Two officials saw the same thing, obviously, because two flags came immediately.
At the point of attack, somebody got wrapped up, huh? That offensive.
Being emphatic about this. You've got to be in control if you're going to be in charge of all those referees. You just can't let the players start influencing what's going on. Of course, when I played, it's holding against
right at the point, probably the tight inside or something.
I would think it would be against the cab because
the Baker got out. The guard got out in good shape, leading the play. He's a good pulling guard. He's got very good speed. Well, this is going to hurt. Instead of making 15, you end up losing.
Holding offense, number 84.
It's Vito Cab, the second-year man from Penn State.
On that outside play, it opened up so quickly that you would think that something was happening right there on the end of the line of scrimmage. Now, this safety is not that bad of a deal here for St. Louis because you'd think they have a lot better field position Philadelphia would have, but they're really in not that bad a shape right here.
Mike Quick is in the game now. 1st and 20. Way back on the 27. Jaworski being does a good throw sidearm. Wilbert gets his head down and out over the 35. And a little extracurricular stuff on the tackle.
We mentioned that the pressure on the quarterback is an unkept stat. You watch the way Jaworski handles this rush by the defensive line right here. The hands are up, and he throws a sidearm pass to keep the ball from being tipped. Sidearm pass out to the flat, and a good pickup.
And when you get Wilbert Montgomery trapped, he doesn't try to be too cute. He just gets it down and takes it, doesn't he?
You bet. He just turns it upfield, gets 8 yards out of that play.
High formation. It's now 2nd down and 12. Big turnover for a safety, but the Cardinal defense is all strapped up for a tough day, and they're playing tough. This time, Jaworski has a lot of time. And Mike Quick takes the ball, stays in bounds. Quick is down the sideline and forced out at the 25-yard line. Wayne Smith made a gamble on the ball and lost. I believe it was Cedric Mack that finally forced him out.
Jaworski has a lot of time right here. The offensive line of the Eagles pick up the stunts extremely well right here, and it gives Ron time to find who he wants to throw it to. And now watch Mack. He'll go for an interception. Breaks in front, but the ball was thrown just the right place. And watch Quick stay in bounds and turn up the field and get.
What an athlete.
And he turns it on. He puts it in gear quickly, doesn't he, Brookie?
A great play and a good recovery by number 45 that came across. I'm sorry, that was Leonard Smith, the #1 draft. A 41-yard pass play.
High velocity pass is what made that play go.
And good blocking up front, huh?
You bet.
First time Jaworski's been able to sit. Here's the toss, back to Montgomery. Good block up front. Montgomery slips through and fumbles the ball at the 19.
It is amazing. These guys, these Eagles get down here in this 20-yard line area, and something bad happens every time. For them, very good for St. Louis, but watch what happens right here on this toss play. Montgomery's turned upfield. Looks like he sort of trips over his...
Good block from the fullback.
He was tripped up a little bit.
Oliver made a good block, though. Charlie Baker sort of stripped the play or tripped him up. Well, by gosh, the ground can cause a fumble. Cardinals got it. They lead 7-5.
Sunday.
I was being facetious. I said the ground cannot or can cause a fumble. It's not supposed to be able to. Was this a fumble, Charlie?
Rookie, the way the rules read, the ground cannot cause a fumble, and from this angle, it looks like Montgomery has control of the ball when he does hit the turf.
He's going down.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's still in there. He's got it in his grasp, and then he hits the ground, and then the ball gets away.
The men in the shirts, the striped shirts, called it a fumble, a big turnover, and of course St. Louis is not going to argue. Take them like they fall. Anderson's carry, with that Morris's carry. There's Wilbert on the sideline. I didn't see much complaining, though. I mean,
and the other thing is that as soon as the ball did get loose, Wilbert was scrambling after it. And if it wasn't a fumble, if he didn't think it was fumble, I know he knows the rule as well as we do.
And especially those offensive linemen are out there. They usually go out there. They think they're lawyers anyway. They're always talking to those officials. Second down, 5. Loquacious. The word for offensive linemen. Very patient people. Right now, it's the St. Louis offensive line. The right guard moved. Joe Bostic, who was the most valuable offensive lineman a year ago, really for the last 2 years.
Quiet leader, probably their best offensive lineman right now.
71.
He's got a brother that plays for the Redskins, Jeff Bostic.
Good center. This is the quietest I've ever heard the Philadelphia crowd.
I heard him warming up before the game. Boom.
Well, they saw you. They thought Dallas was in town, didn't they? Huh? Tilly comes to the bottom of the screen, and Roy Green, the speedster, to the top. He's a bona fide receiver this year, and a great one. He used to go 3 ways before. Martian motion. Card on second down and 10. He's going to be sacked. Oh, he gets away. They're going to call him in the grasp as Joel Williams came to make it a 4-man front on the rush.
Now, this is not an all-out blitz, Brookie. This is only one guy coming, Joel Williams. And this rule, the ruling is that they passed it about 4 years ago. The quarterback is in the grass according to the judgment of the official, and he is ruled down. And it helps people like Hart because he's not very mobile, but it hurts people that are your mobile type quarterback. Let's see if you think he's down.
But you know what it does is protect them from the late shot.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, it's for them.
Sure. Schumann is in there. Good alert. Inside handoff out of the shotgun. Anderson steams out to the 22 with 12:01 left in the third period. And here comes the punting team. And don't think special teams are not important. They play 1/5 of the time. 1 out of every 5 plays is either a field goal or a punt or a run back or something. They are important.
Well, Marion Campbell told us that the way the special teams played in Philadelphia last year kind of reflected the way their season was. They were 20th in the league on special teams. So he went out and got him somebody that he thought would help the team, and Gans is the guy he found.
Wow, they almost blocked Birdsong's punt. We told you the Eagles were after it. Hoover fair catches at the 34. So no blood here in this third period. Not an injury either. It's 7-5, a 45-yard punt and no return. It's a little brother. The blocker on this last punt. Who's the blocker?
Right there, number 40 in the red is Randy Love, and we showed you earlier that Ray Ellis, 24 on the green team, is a great punt blocker. And watch 58, Anthony Graves going underneath 40 Love, and Love is so concerned about him. On Ellis, he makes a move upfield. Of course, it was almost blocked from the other side.
Trying to block the blocker. That's a very interesting theory, isn't it? 1st and 10 for the Eagles. A single back formation. Toss back to Montgomery. Oh, Montgomery breaks out, keeps the ball, and gets to the 44-yard line. Perrin making the tackle there.
Well, we're seeing that new formation again, that little hitch position. between the guard and tackle, well, they'll put Hubie Oliver up there, and it's working.
Is there anything new in football? It looks like it's sort of it's almost a throwback to the wing T, the way they make that fullback get up in there, don't they?
All those different kind of formations. It's funny, the cycles. It goes back and forth.
Double wing was like First World War, I think. Now it's back, you know. Now, Marion Campbell wasn't in that war, but Marion Jr. comes from Georgia as he watches this close measurement for a first down. Makes a good play to call, though, on 2nd and short. Almost anything on your ready list, huh?
If you want to take a chance to throw in deep, you can do it on this play to get the cornerbacks off.
Don't forget the second half of the doubleheader today here on CBS. The NFL Today started us off. At halftime, they brought us up to date. Now it's those Redskins are in Seattle, indoors up there, and the Rams are outdoors against the Jets.
Well, I'm glad to see Chuck Knox doing well up there in Seattle. He's such a good guy. Well, you talking about a player's coach. He is a great guy and a great coach.
Yeah, I think he really is. Second down and a foot. Inside drive. No first down. Well, maybe a first down. Bob Harris and Aarons met Wilbert Montgomery head on. That's the kind of stuff that gets a small running back hurt.
Well, Brookie, they went ahead and just made the first. They didn't throw the ball deep.
I like to stretch out defenses once in a while, even if you're just fooling with them.
Yeah, you play cornerback, you knew.
Oh, Dallas and New Orleans locked in 13-10. A lot of people thought Bum Phillips' team might win that division, and now they're proving they can play. 17-7, Minnesota over Detroit, not yet over though, and Cincinnati at halftime, or almost at halftime, over Buffalo. Here we got a 7-5 score, and the fourth quarter promises a lot of points. Jaworski on play action, a lot of time going deep for Quick. Quick's there. Mike Quick makes a great catch by number 82, and he was covered by Wayne Smith all the way through the play. That is a great football play. He simply jumped over the defensive back and took the ball.
He's shaking up again. That's 2 times he's caught a big, gone deep on the pass and been hurt.
48-yarder.
Here's that same formation right here. 34, Hubie Oliver's on the right-hand side of your screen. They've been running off a run. Now they're going to run a play-action pass. He wants to go to Hubie. He's covered. Well, watch the way Jaworski goes to the secondary receiver. When you got speed on the outside, you can lay the ball up. And he puts that a great catch.
And the offensive line gave him the time. Mike Quick, wow, he's going to be as popular as Mario Alonso was in Philly.
Who?
By success. This young man last year looked like he was a little tentative, a strike and what have you, but man, he has put some moves on and made some catches. He is here to stay. We had Tommy McDonald, the old Eagle receiver, come in at halftime. I bet you Tommy is watching this young man with a lot of interest. First and goal at the 7. Montgomery behind blockers, cuts back, gets the 2-3. Wilbert letting his blockers work, not hurrying it, and Wilbert is slow getting up, and that's a leg.
Golly, we have seen so many injuries, and he's squirming. Once again, Brookie, you see him squirming like that. That's usually a bad sign when they're out cold or they're laying still. It's an indication they're not very bad. That's what my wife used to tell me. When I saw you laying still, didn't bother me. It just knocked out, maybe.
Rosie wasn't worried then, huh?
Shot of Michael Haddix, who's played the first 3 games for Philadelphia. You know, this series right here is critical to the ball game, but I think it's more critical to the confidence that the Philadelphia Eagles have as far as scoring in this plus territory, the 20-yard line in. Let's see if we can tell what happened on this play and try to figure out why.
What do you call this, the plus 20 area, huh?
Plus 20.
Montgomery, he's hurt. And the Eagles trail by 2. And the list gets longer. Jaworski bruised jaw, Pisarcik bruised sternum, Schulz bruised knee, kicked in head Jerry Robinson, may not come back today, bruised knee Stan Walters, and now Wilbert Montgomery, the right knee that was hurt in the Green Bay preseason game, looks to be a little gimpy again.
Michael Haddix in replacing him at the tailback position for Philadelphia.
It is second and goal from the 2. Haddix, end zone, touchdown. touchdown rushing of the season, the rookie from Mississippi State, a 219-pounder with 4.4 speed. Montgomery left with 53 yards on 12 carries, and Hubie Oliver got the big block taking him in.
It was important that they score a touchdown. I think it's the first touchdown that they've scored in the plus territory, the 20-yard line in the last 3 games.
Good point. Coach begins to settle down a little bit after that. Shara's hole. Franklin missed the extra point. So now we're going to have really a weird score. It's going to be 11-7. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a scoreboard.
2 lucky numbers, though.
Safety and a missed extra point, huh? 2 lucky numbers. Here's the touchdown. The tailback. He's a bruiser.
Is that Baker?
Wouldn't you love to climb into a kicker's head and know what they're thinking about? Here's a guy who kicked a 43-yard field goal to win a game, and he misses an extra point. It is tough. The 7-yard line is Stump Mitchell. Look out. Mitchell and a pile of players at the 33-yard line.
Let's take another shot at Michael Haddock's touchdown. This is the ground level. You're a linebacker. You'll play the outside, the pulling guard. Ron Baker, 63, will be blocking on 58. Dave Aarons, and that's why he scores. That's why Michael Haddock takes it in the end zone. Follows right off the hip of Ron Baker.
Haddock's learning that little get-along skip that he had for a while.
That's a hitch and a get-along.
A hitch and a get-along. He kept the feet on the ground. He's very strong, and he's very young, and he knows he's going to learn.
A lot of movement.
Jim Hart, 3-step drop, and outside. Roy Green had some company. As Ellis and Herm Edwards both had pretty good shots at that ball.
Going to the air on first down. The Cards are averaging 3.5 first down, every first down today. And the Eagles, conversely, are averaging 7.9 yards for every first down play.
I'll ask you a question and put you on the spot. Why doesn't Roy Green get called on long patterns if he's got the great speed?
I don't understand. He's been clocked at 4.3 40-yard dash. Throw the ball deep. Even if you catch it, don't catch it, you're going to scare the daylights out of those cornerbacks.
Well, Jim Hart can throw early and deep. You know, he can take a quick drop and get it off. Here's Anderson now. Anderson being sort of bullied around after a pickup. Joel Williams and company met him there. 2 or 3 yards, and words exchanged again, this time between linebackers and tight ends, and they've been doing that probably since the beginning of time, too. 8:12 left in this third period. Settling down now to just sort of a physical war. 11-7. Eagles have gotten a safety, and then they got a touchdown and missed an extra point. This drives somebody like Jimmy the Greek nuts, huh? 75 yards for O.J. You're bad, Waters. You're a bad guy, buddy. Here comes the rush. Jim Hart going deep and overthrowing Greg LaFleur, the former Eagle tight end, at the 30-yard line. Boy, the old man loaded up a real rifle that time.
A little too excited on that one. Had him for a touchdown. I've seen him complete a heck of a lot more than I've seen him overthrow. I talked to Jim yesterday. He says, you know, my son's playing ball now. You know, he's just playing safety. So the only tackle he made, he's got his thumb caught in the guy's pants.
Pulled the kid's pants off.
Real class guy, though, Jim Hart. What a great fellow.
Boy, that's the truth. And, you know, being a quarterback, buck stops there, too, and been in this city, St. Louis, a long time. Mel Hoover back for the punt. Birdsong. And remember, they're trying to block some today. He gets another one off. Pretty good punt, driving Hoover to the 14-yard line. Hoover makes a couple of people miss and maybe fumble the football. Talk about special team play being important. Allerman was down there. There's some scuffling going on. Cardinals have the football.
Only way they can win, Brookie, at the top of the show is to make the big plays. And do it on the defense and the special teams. You see a happy Jim Hannafin. Boy, he's a real popular guy. Everybody on that team loves him.
Took this team to the playoff in the strike year. Pretty good job of coaching last year.
Shot of Hoover. He makes a juke on Stump Mitchell. Coughed it up.
Hoover thought he recovered it, but it was a fumble. The Montgomery fumble we didn't think was. First down for the Cardinals. Time to be opportune. Here in the third period. Toss back to 32. Anderson going straight up to the 15-yard line and not going outside of his tracks. Just loaded it up and came right to the formation. Reggie Wilkes hanging on there. Tonight on CBS, and Sunday night is a great night, isn't it? 60 Minutes, Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons, Good Night Beantown, which is your favorite, Charlie Waters, and Trapper John M.D. That's the story of a football player who became a neurosurgeon, right? No, it's a great night on CBS, and make sure you enjoy it. Second down and 4. Inside handoff. Morris, not much. Wayne Morris stopped just past the line of scrimmage. Kenny Clark first. The stadium again very, very quiet on a glorious day. Indian summer on the East Coast.
Another Eagle down. That's Ken
Kenny
Clark.
Clark is down there. The training room is going to be rather busy tomorrow. Cardinals have really come in and taken it physically to Marion Campbell's team.
Got an update on Wilbert Montgomery's knee. Is not as bad as it looked, and it looked bad to me, that he's just got a twinge, they said.
Did you ever hear the story when he went to Grambling College? He wanted to go to school at Grambling, and the coach said, I'd like to use you. I got a couple of guys that are juniors ahead of you. A fellow named Walter Payton and Ricky Young. So Wilbert sneaked out of the dorm at night and went to Abilene Christian, where he could play 4 years.
Just got an update that Wilbert right there at 31 is not going to be back for the rest of the afternoon. One of the reasons why probably he could probably get back and do it because of his knee, but the other reason is that they have Michael Haddix, who's has great potential here in this league.
Remember Wilbert's comment yesterday when he was talking to you about on paper?
Yeah.
On paper, we don't look like we're going to win it, but nobody plays on paper. We get out there on Sunday, we have a good chance. A great attitude. I guess a running back is the most sought-after person in football. Everybody hones in and tries to get to the running back. At least defensive player, you can sort of pick your spots and not get chased by everybody.
He's a thoroughbred.
Don't forget, next week now, the NFL Today starts it all on the Sunday doubleheader from New York with Brent and Irv and Phyllis and Jimmy. St. Louis at Kansas City. These Cardinals go to Arrowhead. That's always a good rivalry there because they're close to one another. And Detroit goes against the Los Angeles Rams in Anaheim.
Of course, John McAvoy has got Kansas City in contention this year. Pat Tilley says, hey, we need to win this game because the road ahead is going to be tough for us.
There are no easy ones anymore. Kenny Clark is up. The crowd now sort of warming to a very, very popular player here. Good working ball player, that fellow. Armstrong, the SMU Mustang, will be in there. But down close right now, you need Kenny Clark. 6:25 in the third period. 11-7. Philadelphia with the lead. Third down and 2. Big play in this football game here. Short yardage offense. Drive series. Oh, look out. Oh, very close. Flags are flying. Flags are flying. If the Eagles get the option, of course, they'll make that measurement first before they have to declare. Darby in there making that tackle. He's the young man from USC. Pretty good defense that time. They strung that play out and got help.
Yeah, they did a good job of that, rookie, and of doing it with a lot of backups. That shows you how strong this defensive team is here at Philadelphia.
The last 6 years, they've given up fewer points than any defense in the league, including Pittsburgh's, including Denver, and including the Dallas Cowboys, which comes as a shock to my partner here. That's really the only way you can measure how effective a defense is, isn't it? It's just points.
Points.
Really.
Really. That and how your quarterbacks rate against the defense. I think
Holding on the offensive
they're
decline.
going to
It's
decline
fourth down.
this and go ahead and give up a field goal, assuming that O'Donohue can kick the field goal.
But a big move, really, defensively. Shows you how the defense can be in the game for Marion Campbell's team, huh?
Well, they've done it every year, and they've done it a lot this year already. Right now, Philadelphia is leading NFC in yards given up, and where St. Louis is 13th, Philadelphia is first.
Glad when I played they didn't keep all those stats. It would have been embarrassing. Here's O'Donohue now trying. He missed 3 in the opening game against New Orleans.
A lot of movement, a lot of movement.
Look out, this could be a first down if it's on defense. If it's on the defense, if they came too early, they'll get the football back and ram number 32 at you. What the Eagles look like.
Referee Bigfoot out there, Harrison, is calling the play.
Good Harrison.
A lot of little games going on down there on that on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. The center will sometimes act like he's going to snap it, and them guys will try to pull the other guy off. Goes on all the time.
False start. Offense, right guard.
Probably trying to gang up on the fellow's nose. He might have twitched. O'Donohue now lining up. Perrin, the safety man's the holder. Roger Worley is no longer a Cardinal. He retired after a great career, but he used to hold for everything. This is from the 28, a 38-yard attempt. He hooked it left. Ben Dry signals for the crowd to come alive. Hannafin says, don't worry about it. We'll charge up. We'll get another one. That's it. Pretty good move by the coach. You see him go by and tell the kicker, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that little pat right there.
Not bad.
It was a bad snap, and good job by Perrin to get the ball down, but the timing was a little off. And dejected Donahue walks off the field with his head down. Golly, that's a tough job. Isn't it, those kickers?
You bet you it is. And some defensive series, Jaworski now with the offense, they might be a little bit breezy and be able to have some fun, they think. Under 6 minutes in the third period.
There's Hubie Oliver shifting up to the up-back position.
Good point. He's the blocker. Haddix. Jaworski to Mike Quick at the 31. He just froze. Cedric Mack turned in there, took it. Looks like he's been playing for 10 years.
On this play, Jaworski drops back in the pocket, and he has the option to throw to the turn-in route or throw off to the back. Linebacker 52, Charlie Baker, you can see him right on the right side bottom of your screen, has committed to the back, and that makes the little turn-in route open to Mike Quick.
Who does Mike remind you of? Anybody that comes to mind? It's not a Tony Hill? Or
no, he's got a little Rashad in him. Ahmad Rashad is who he looks like. He's a glider, and he's got real long legs like Rashad has.
I like it. Good read, Charlie. 1st and 10 play. Inside handoff off the toss trap like. And Hubie Oliver stacks into people. Charlie Baker right there. This Cardinal defense has battled. They have put 4 or 5 people on the injured list. They have recovered fumbles. We've been notified by Mike Burks, our producer, that nobody for the Eagles has ever had 3 100-yard receiving days in a row like this, which is what Mike Quick is heading for. We'll try to give you those stats on him in just a moment. That's some darn 3 weekends. There he is again.
The exact same play to the other side.
And Scott Haddix, if he has to unload it, he just dumps it in the flat, doesn't he?
Well, if the linebacker commits to Quick on the turn-in route, real easy read, bang, bang read. That's the type of thing that Dick Wood has brought to the Philadelphia attack is let's just give Jaworski 2 things the key instead of 16 things as Vermeil had done in the years past. 2 things to read on. Just read off that linebacker. If he commits to the turn-in, go to the back. If he commits to the back, go to the turn-in.
And can you run a takeoff of that pattern?
You can run a pump and go deep. There's that setup again.
Single wing right. The tackle split out. Inside run. Haddix shifting a little bit with his footing, getting to the 47-yard line. I went up to him the other day and I said, you know, that number 26 belonged to Clarence Peaks, my old teammate. He said, somebody told me that the other day. I said, he was a big, fast running back and was on our championship team, and he sort of enjoyed wearing, you know, a uniform of a former great player here.
This is a ground level shot. That's Al Baker in the red on the screen. And Jerry Sizemore, the tackle on him, and Hubie Oliver's in the slot in between there. And watch the way Sizemore moves, pushes Baker to the outside and keeps him out of the play. Little hand use too there.
A little bit. Second down and 5. Jaworski now dumps it out in the flat to Haddix, who takes on the cornerback and gets to the 47. Wayne Smith had nowhere to go but take on the 218-pounder.
It's a good example there where the linebacker did commit to the turn in. They ran a kick coverage over there. They rolled the backs on that side. Quick read by Jaworski, throws it off to the big back, and when Haddix gets the ball one-on-one like that, he's going to fall for 4 yards because he's strong.
Football, and we were talking that has offensive football become too darn intricate where you can't do any audibilizing or everything?
I mean, the whole deal on football is to try to move the ball down the field. Are you trying to make it too complicated by all this shifting and motion and dipsy doodles and stuff?
And signals?
Not here at Philadelphia, though. They're simplifying. They're going for the bomb here.
Short yards. He's got Cab out there and overthrows him at the 20-yard line. Vito Cab covered by Cedric Mack, but open up the middle. Good try. Ron knows he just didn't throw cork that time.
Oh, but I like the courage right there, though. I like that they go for that on 3rd and 1. They've been making the conversions on short yardage. They've been getting enough yardage on ground on 1st and 2nd down. And boy, I like that they take a chance. That'll get those defensive backs off.
Runager's had 3 inside the 20, and this would be a good time. He'll be kicking from about the 37-yard line. And Stump Mitchell
he hadn't fair caught a catch, fair caught a punt in 77 punts.
Runager does not hit it good. Mitchell at the 16. On the move, Stump Mitchell dragging people to the 32-yard line. Mike Quick, a hurdler from NC State that I had never heard of until the Eagles drafted him. But he's got 127 yards on 5 catches today. 6 for 152 against Denver, and as we said, beat Louis Wright for a TD, and 4 against the Redskins, and they have a pretty good defensive club, carried him to the Super Bowl. I have never heard of a young receiver getting this kind of attention. You know, usually by the 2nd or 3rd week they close you down. Not him.
Now he's a tough kid too, Brookie. The thing he's doing is going to take coverage off of Carmichael now. You can't ignore Carmichael as Otis Anderson comes back and gets a good gain on 1st down.
Wasting no time, Anderson ran right at the linebacker and made it. Griggs finally made the tackle, but he ran over Cower, the other linebacker, to get there. Cower's in there now, number 57. Joel Williams is in, number 59. Robinson, of course, is out. Got him kicked in the head. And Griggs is in. And 3 down linemen. Sorry, lead on that. 1st down run by Anderson. They got a lot of substitutes in there. Ellis is playing safety. I think the Eagles got about half that defensive unit's on the sideline. Bigfoot Harrison is on the field right now, and that's Otho Davis working on him. He's the defensive left end on the 34 for the Eagles on the strong side, where you cannot afford to be driven off the line of scrimmage, or the 34 is ineffective.
That's Dick Woods moving at you in the yellow shirt. Shot of the Philadelphia sideline. You know, we were in the Marion Campbell there on the. He's in the yellow shirt there, right in the middle of the screen. We were in his office yesterday, and I saw a lot of game balls up there that they awarded him when he was a defensive coordinator here at Philadelphia. And, you know, there must have been 6 game balls in there that they awarded him, and they were the The Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia 27, Philadelphia Dallas 0, awarded to Marion Campbell.
They gave him the one for the San Francisco game, the first game this year, and he said he was so glad to get out of San Francisco alive because they've turned out to be such an explosive team, you know.
You find out after the season goes on how strong their defensive performance was against a team like San Francisco when you see what San Francisco's done to other opponents after that first game.
64,485 on hand. One of the few times I can remember not selling the stadium out. The whole league is down, I think, around 16%, I guess. Coming up next, Washington. The Redskins are battling up in Seattle. And it's not foggy inside that building they got up there. That's a fast track. That's where you got hurt one day, didn't you? And the Rams are going against the Jets at Shea.
John Robinson's got the Rams. They're going to be a legitimate contender out there in L.A. It's a different place out there, you know.
He gets talent, though, you know.
And he's used to coaching out there on that coast with the...
Look what Bum Phillips told us. Bum says, you know, if you had bad players, you have to start all over. But he said Rams always did have good talent, so Johnny Robinson's going to do fine. Bigfoot Harrison, the dandy from Vandy, a very likable person in this community, is still down on the ground. Otho Davis and Dr. DeStefano's to the left, and their big fella just can't move much. That list that we've been showing you, the injured list, is getting too much for the screen almost now.
Bigfoot is 6'8". He plays that left defensive end side. And you face a lot of right-handed. Most of the quarterbacks in the league are right-handed. And
there's Byron Darby, the SC athlete, who will be the replacement. 6'4", 255. The big improvement for the Eagles was the weight program in the offseason.
Bigfoot Harrison's on the left of your screen. You can't see it, but he'll show up right here. See if we can figure out what happens. He makes the tackle. He's kind of squirming around. He's already hurt.
Yep.
Can't tell, but he's walking off now.
Remember, the Eagles, win or lose, have to play Atlanta down south next week. And you got to have all your troops there. You can't go in there with, you know, bandages and canes, because they'll kill you down there.
Civil war between these two teams.
An uncivil war. All right, 1st and 10. We got 50 some odd seconds left in the third period as Denny Harrison is assisted to the sideline. And Jim Hart goes back to work. Tilly, man in motion. Play action pass. Hart going deep for Marsh. He's open and drops the football. Ray Ellis was in the wake of number 80. That went right on through. Now, whether that sun is coming right out over his shoulder, I don't know.
Well, you can use the excuse of the sun sometimes, but coaches don't buy it. This is a great play by Hart. You see the movement. Now, the movement, you wonder why they have all this movement. Well, every once in a while, it just might make a question mark in the defensive back's mind of what's going on, and that might have been what happened right here on Ray Ellis covering the tight end Marsh. It just passed his fingertips, and
oh my goodness.
I don't know. I guess that ball was catchable if you're a fleet receiver.
Hart is 0 for 3 in the second half. Cardinal offense has sputtered. Number 32 is Anderson. He digs it, trying to get into Eagle territory. Bill Cower, number 57.
They come back and run right at Brian Darby, who's in there replacing Dennis Harrison. And when you get a guy like that, Otis Anderson can gain 6 yards on second down or 5 yards on second down. You can afford to throw the ball deep occasionally on first down.
Hart has 5 interceptions this year. He did coming in. The nickel defense is in for the Eagles and 4 down linemen. And let's see who wins this battle on 3rd and almost 6. Fourth quarter action coming up. 11-7. Eagles over the Cardinals. We'll be back after this message from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller Time. And by Pontiac, cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement.
Tom Brookshier with Charlie Waters, an 11-7 game. Philadelphia leading going into the fourth period. Shotgun on 3rd and 5, and the flags are down. Philadelphia was probably offsides. Schumann catches it at the 35, and they're going to have the Cardinals are going to have the option. Somebody jumped on that four-man front, either Greg Brown or Armstrong.
Defense offside. Decline the penalty. That's a first down.
Anderson is now at 98 yards. He has 22 100-yard rushing days already in his career. And the Swamp Fox does not like the way this fourth period just started.
Jim Hart on that play rolled out of the pocket to his left, which is a hard way to throw. And, you know, he hadn't thrown any interceptions today, and he's thrown 5 interceptions going into this game in 6 quarters before he started today's game.
He's very much together for this. Weak side toss back to Anderson, who breaks one tackle and runs into a horde. Hairston over in there, number 78. Some other scores from around the country. Baltimore 13-3 over Chicago, but that is early. That may not hold up. Cincinnati 23, Tampa Bay 17. Well, the Bengals may win their first game. Anderson now to 100 yards rushing. New England hanging on over Pittsburgh by 5 still. And of course, coming up next, Washington at Seattle, or the Anaheim Rams against the New York Jets. Jets are getting ready to go to Jersey too, it sounds like. Second down and 9. Anderson at the 30, upended and dropped. Good play by Reggie Wilkes.
Valuable player on this Philadelphia defensive team. You know, their strength of their team are the linebackers. The linebackers make a lot of tackles here as compared to a lot of tackles by the safeties at St. Louis. But there's 51 on the left of your screen coming upfield, beating off the block of Barsh and knifing under and tackling an elusive runner in Anderson.
And I think he's probably calling defenses since Jerry Robinson is not in there to take the signals, huh?
Right, he's off the sideline right now in 3rd and long. But yeah, he's the one that does it when
big play.
Robinson's out.
Big play. 3rd down and something. Shotgun. The rush. And Hart goes down as Greg Brown and others arrived in a hurry against the shotgun. A lot of high fives. Carl Hairston there, 78, 98, and out the gate.
Big play. A stunt coming from the middle is Carl Hairston. He beats Joe Bostic. And you say, well, dadgum, how can Carl Hairston come from the middle? Well, the Eagles, in a pass situation, they bring their 2 defensive ends into the middle to the tackle position and bring in 2 fresh ends to play the outside. There's another shot at it.
A 4-man rush. Now, Birdsong is going to punt. The sack also took them out of O'Donoghue's field goal range. A tremendous defensive series. Fumble into the end zone. It's touchback time, and the Eagles will have the ball on the 20-yard line. Wow. What was Murphy's Law that Hannafin was talking about? If 2 things can go wrong, you can end up with the worst of 2 things. That's what happens to us, he says, right?
He's jerking that cord around.
A little action on the far side.
Now, on this punt right here, Leonard Smith can catch the ball and down it at the 1 if he didn't go in the end zone, but he dropped it and goes in the end zone for a touchback. 11-7, strange score.
They're reading x-rays on the sidelines, and they may have portable radiology units. If this game keeps going like this, there have been more injuries in this game than guys used to have in a couple of 3 seasons. That shows you how fast they can take care of you.
Every stadium in the NFL has an x-ray machine available.
Good move. Michael Haddix is in there. Montgomery got a twinge in that knee and will not return. That's Hubie Oliver. We just saw Jim Hannafin, the St. Louis coach, on the sidelines, and he is frustrated. This team had Dallas down by 17 points, and the whole thing went south on them. San Francisco 49ers, they scored 27 points and lose big to San Francisco. He's had some tough losses in that.
And they were in that ball game. They were dominating that game, and all of a sudden San Francisco beats them by a couple 3 touchdowns.
They played the Saints well, and just George Rogers had one of those 200-yard days, is all.
Couple missed field goals.
But they're 0-3. Toss back to Haddix, gets away from Bubba Baker, and gets 2 flags, but I'm telling you, he took on a linebacker or 2 and splattered him.
What a great kid this Michael Haddix is. He averaged his senior year in college 6.7 yards a carry.
6.7?
6.7 yards a carry in college. That's
down in Mississippi State, huh?
Yeah, he's an interesting story about Michael Haddix.
Defense was lined up in the neutral zone. We're going to play it over. Who won?
Play the play over when both teams cheat.
That's right. Play it over when both teams cheat. Boy, that's the theory.
Michael Haddix, though, his family, his mother and father got killed on Christmas Eve when he was 9 years old, and this guy has been raised out of an orphanage. And he said, you know, it stuns me today. And when I was in college, he said, everybody would see their mother and father. I didn't have a mother and father, but I knew that I had to come back by myself. And this is the type of the guy, that's what character's all about. And I guarantee you, they know about it, and they'll lean on him in a crucial situation because he has overcome adversity.
It's a great story. The screen is trying to be set up. Jaworski somehow gets it to Haddix. Haddix runs into trouble, and Wayne Smith hangs on for dear life. Good defensive play. And Bubba chased Jaworski around and then sort of tried to shake his hand.
Good play by Wayne Smith right there, 44. And you're talking about dealing with adversity. Every time you line up at that cornerback position, you feel alone. You're on an island, and he's been beat today for a couple of deep plays, and he wouldn't let go right there. Relentless on the tackle right there by Wayne Smith.
You're right, an island, Devil's Island, cornerback territory. 3rd down and 11. The Eagles do not want to give up the football. The Cardinals are hot. They're going to try to win one, maybe get it started. On call by Jaworski. Sizemore handled Baker. It's going to be short of the 1st down by about 5 yards. Good defensive series. Mike Quick catches it. But the Cardinals are going to be in pretty good shape, and you don't trust punting to stump Mitchell.
Well, Mike Quick makes a nice catch on that one, but short of the 1st down. That was a good series by the Cardinals, as you said, rookie.
Maxie Runniger has got a kick away from number 30. Stump Mitchell is a very, very dangerous football player. Last year against the Eagles, he had 140 some odd yards substituting for Anderson when he was hurt. Slater's the snapper. Ooh, a low snap.
Low kick.
Oh, trying to kick away, and he does. Drags Stump over and out of bounds.
Well, that'll stop that'll stop the stumper from running the ball back. Just kick it out of bounds.
Can't play out there, huh? A 45-yard punt. And again, the crowd is sort of sitting here like something's going to happen. Unsportsmanlike on the Cardinals. Let's see.
Unnecessary roughness
Ooh, yes.
on the receiving team, number 45. 15-yard penalty, and they got the ball 1st down.
You know, Brookie, that is
Leonard Smith, huh? Defensive back.
You just can't have that. Boy, and I know that man right there doesn't like to see that penalty. He lost 15 yards on that.
We'll try to summarize this weird scoring. It was 3-0 Eagles on a Franklin 32-yard field goal. Then Jim Hart hit Marsh with a TD pass on 3rd and about 6 going in. Then the Eagles got a safety on the 2nd half kickoff to start the 2nd half. And then Haddix scored on a 2-yard run when Wilbert Montgomery had to be helped to the sidelines. And the missed extra point makes it 11-7, but a lot of time left, 10 minutes and 19 seconds. Jim Hart has gone all the way at quarterback. He has a lot of time. And hits Roy Green, and it's knocked away. Good defensive play by Roynell Young.
You see Anthony Griggs there, rookie number 58. He was the real reason why Roynell got the close on that. Number 43 is Roynell, and 58 is Anthony Griggs. He made a great drop and put his hand up, and Jim Thart had to throw over his head. Now Griggs is calling the defenses now.
Something must have happened in the Dallas game.
There's the pass out in the flat. Over Griggs' head. He almost got a hand on it. Of course, Griggs is known as the alien. He's not really sure where he's from.
And Roynell is the #1 draft and a very good cornerback. Here's the toss back to Anderson. Number 32 is there in a hurry and has the first down out to the 28-yard line. Joel Williams makes another tackle. Well, he can run. He has got good speed at 220 some odd pounds.
O.J. on the toss to the outside. The linebackers get involved, and of course they picked up Joel Williams from Atlanta, and he comes back inside and gets a hand on O.J. and brings him down. Their linebackers, they make the tackles.
The first team is back in now. Dennis Harrison is back in the game. Kenny Clark is back in the game, and Carl Hairston has returned to the game.
But Randy Logan is out of the lineup. We've got Ray Ellis playing in there full time at strong safety, number 24.
Final was Miami beating Kansas City 14-6.
That's a shot right there of
New Orleans has
Ray Ellis. Excuse me.
New Orleans has gone ahead of Dallas. Maybe that's what the cheer from the
I'm sure that's what it was.
fanatics around here said, right? It's New Orleans 20, Dallas 13 now, as Wayne Wilson, substituting for Rogers, scored on the 1-yard run. I don't know, have the Saints always played Dallas tough, but did they ever beat you in all that time?
No, I don't remember them beating us, although Bum Phillips' team has beaten the Cowboys on many occasions. There's a shot right there of Griggs, who's calling the signals, and he's a different sort of guy, Brookie.
He's a free one. He's a free spirit.
He's a good player. He's a great player. What's improving in this league.
Came out of Villanova, and when the school here on the main line dropped football, he somehow ended up at Ohio State. Things like that happen, I guess, and he is really a physical, good football player.
Well, he calls himself the inside enforcer. And he doesn't want to call it the linebacker. He says this is more new wave.
There's Randy Logan, the Pro Bowler, number 41.
That explains why Ray Ellis is out there.
He got it. He's ice in the neck. Probably got a very physical game. Hart's back to throw. Looking for Tilley. Can't. Now dumps it to Anderson. Anderson, with a full head of steam, is knocked down by Ray Ellis with a good tackle, and it's short of the first down.
Jim Hart had a lot of time that time. He was trying to go to Roy Jetstream Green deep, right down the middle, but he was double covered.
I thought he wanted Tilley. You think he wanted Green, huh?
Yeah, I thought he was looking to Green.
I thought they doubled both of those. 83, 81, pretty good time to double them, I guess. And remember, the Eagles do not blitz a lot. They send one guy to make it a 4-man front, which is normal in the 34, but they play pretty straight defense. Second down, 5. 8:41 left in the fourth and final quarter. That's Morris. Wayne Morris to the 39-yard line.
Looks like a first down, Brookie.
And you don't have to get it all at once. You've got to be patient against this kind of a defense, don't you? Veteran, experienced, you just sort of nibble away and you
taking a little bit of time. There's a shot of Ray Ellis. He's in the lineup for this series. He hadn't even been in the ball game until the last couple series, and I would think Jim Hart would be throwing at him a little bit. You know, when you come off the bench at a defensive backfield position, boy, you're talking about you're lost as it is out there. You don't have anybody on your side and no friends. Then you come off and you haven't been playing. It really is tough on them.
That's certainly true. A mixed-up play, and Morris makes it a good one. Morris to the 47 on a leak. Herman Edwards on the tackle.
Well, that'll kill you. That was a busted play.
Eagles defense dragging just a little bit.
Just a little lazy on closing that hole down when he's backed up and stopped up. The guy has not fumbled the ball in over 500 carries. That's a lot of carries without a fumble.
Stretched nerve in the shoulder of Randy Logan that you saw on the sidelines. They don't know if he'll be back. Second down and 3. All of these will begin to be big plays now. The toss back to Stump Mitchell. and he's hit a good defensive play by Ellis. Ray Ellis has made 2 good tackles in a row.
Well, we mentioned that Ray Ellis was in the lineup, and they said he was going to compete for the job this year coming into training camp. And boy, Randy Logan's still doing a good job. But watch him on this play. This will put you in the starting lineup. He comes up, his responsibility is to turn the play in. He not only turns the play in, but he falls into that Stump Mitchell in the ball game, and he falls into him and makes it. That is a great play by a strong safety.
That's a blue ribbon move by the safety man, and he's physical. Ohio State doesn't turn out. People don't like to hit you. Big play, 3rd down and less than 1. 6.5 minutes.
The crowd knows it.
Stump Mitchell is the tailback. Morris gets it. Pretty close. He had to almost get to midfield.
No, Brookie, we mentioned earlier. Looks like it is a 1st down. And we mentioned earlier in the crucial situation, 3rd and 1 earlier in the ball game, they went over Carlos Scott. They did the same thing that time. Here's the guy that's a rookie in the lineup. Of course, he weighs 300 pounds. If he falls forward, he's going to knock somebody backwards, isn't he?
Sure is.
But they go over him again, and they get the 1st down.
Anderson out, and Stump Mitchell is in. He has ignited this team several times. It's a play-action pass. Hart loading, knocked away by Dennis Harrison. Big foot had the big hand up that time.
That's that intimidation factor, that tall defensive end on the left-hand side of the field, the quarterback's right side. You need a guy there that's over 6'5". Of course, Dennis is 6'8". Watch what Jim Hart sees. You get a lot of movement. You remember now, St. Louis needs a touchdown to win this ball game. A field goal won't do anything except get them closer. And watch the timing out of Harrison right there. Harrison jumps up and tips the ball away. That's intimidating.
And they doubled him. They put Morris and the big right tackle on him, and he still got into the play. 2nd down and 10. 5:43. That's Roy Green. Weak side toss to Anderson. Anderson runs through 2 tackles and elbows Herm Edwards. And this is getting to be a rough game. He ran right through somebody. Didn't even see the first tackler, did he?
And Ken Clark penetrates through there. And let's watch number 59, Joel Williams. The linebacker will be dropping back. And they're cracking back on him right here. Number 24, watch Morris cut his feet out from under him. Oh, that's a good clean block. You know what's interesting about that run right there is they're not running to the strong side of the field. The strength of the running formation's on the tight end side of the field, which is where Ray Ellis is playing. They're running over to the weak side.
Good blocking fullback can take you other places.
Boy, that's an underrated player, that fullback. And this is 3rd and 1, another big series.
Another 3rd down and 1. Anderson, this time he did not get to the line. He didn't get to the line. Now you've got to gamble if you're the coach. You've got to decide, look, less than 5.5 minutes, we're not going to get the ball back maybe but one more time.
This is a time for the coach to, if he goes for it, you better make it.
And field goal doesn't do Hannafin's team any good. It's a 4-point spread, so you got to get a touchdown.
He's thinking about it. But that was a really good play right there by Bill Cowers, backing up, taking the place of Jerry Robinson.
Stump Mitchell comes in.
They're going for it.
I like it. You going to play football to win, or you going to play football to be safe? I like it. You got to get it. You got a young offensive line, and you have got some mastodons playing defense. This is going to be a good one here. We made it. Stump Mitchell finally knocked out at the 34-yard line, and look at them picking him up. The whole Cardinal bench came over.
Well, Stump wasn't going to be denied. This little extra speed to get to the outside. It looked like for a second, you know, this is not a very high percentage play for the 1st down, but he's going to get the first on his own. He's not going to let anybody stop him. And then even after he watch that referee go down. Oh, nobody's going to stop him.
The referee's the only person that hasn't been hurt. I think you and I have been taped up. But look at this. Look at the reaction. Hannafin said he knew they'd get it. A good gamble by the coach, and they're on the move. Anderson back in there with the left side. Good defensive play. About a yard gain. Kenny Clark went under. 4.5 minutes left. Other scores now. Cincinnati 23, Tampa Bay 17. Forrest Gray gets his first one. He's off to Schneider, as they say. Kansas City losing to Miami 14-6. 20-17, Minnesota hanging on right now over Detroit. That one's not over yet. New England 28-23, a 5-point lead over Pittsburgh. I don't know where that is in the fourth. Houston, Buffalo, Baltimore leading Chicago at halftime 13-3. A lot of good action. 3:53. Hart. Going outside for Tilley, intercepted by Roynell Young. Oh, and dropped. Roynell Young timed it, stepped in, and forgot to catch the ball.
That guy there, Roynell Young, good player, potential All-Pro, and has made All-Pro before. This is the cornerback's position. Boy, he breaks on this play. That's beautiful coverage. That's anticipation. Watch him break in front for an interception. He just forgot to catch it.
He doesn't have any interceptions. In fact, the Eagles only have 3 interceptions, and Griggs has 2 of those.
You know, they don't throw the ball very much at Roynell Young because of that.
3rd down and 8. Good point. 3rd and 8. The rush is on. Hart stripped and dropped by Greg Brown. Fumble, and the Eagles come up with it. The crowd finally comes to life. The 4th sack. Armstrong recovered, and Greg Brown caused it.
Another stunt. They've got some more, those 2 fresh defensive ends in. Hart can't find anybody. And Greg Brown causes the fumble. The score is 11-7.
When you have a little over 3.5 minutes left in a football game, the Stars, they earned that reputation. They think they can win it for you. This is what you expect. Bubba Baker is the big new man defensively for St. Louis. If I was running the offense, I'd get on him with 2 people and start really cutting him down.
He's the catalyst. He says he gets him fired up, and they'll be going for a strip in this situation. They need a fumble.
Haddock's the rookie to the 40-yard line. Haddock's fumbled twice against Denver, but Wilbert Montgomery is hurt. Not seriously, but he's on the sideline.
Now the clock becomes a factor as you see it in the corner of your screen. The other thing is a field goal will do no good. At this point, it's hard to say. You can't expect to get 2 field goals this late in the ball game. Philadelphia feels they need 1 first down to clinch it.
The timeout situation. 2 for St. Louis left, so they won't burn 1 yet. They're going to need those for the offense if they get it back. Jaworski back on play action, and Bubba Baker's got him. And Curtis Greer. Play action fool no one.
Let's see what Bubba Baker does on this play to get him free. Of course, Curtis Greer was involved in it too. Philadelphia is going for the big play, thinking that might be able to catch St. Louis off guard. He just beats Sizemore to the outside with his bull rush.
Bubba said he's never lifted weights until this year, and he feels like a different person now with this new legal club that he uses. It's a shotgun time, and Jaworski can't afford to turn the ball over. He's going to have to hope for a deep punt. It's 3rd down and 20. And Oliver is hemmed in and stopped, and they're going to burn a timeout right now with 2:17 on the clock. They'll get another timeout with a 2-minute warning, and then they'll have 1 left for the last 2 minutes. Hannafin's got a chance. He's got them humming. It's 11-7 with 2:17.
Tuesday.
We look like we're on the bridge of the USS Missouri up here, but this is our perch, and it's a good one here in Philadelphia.
Notice that the cornerbacks of the 50s and 60s were midgets, and the guys in the 70s and 80s were a little taller.
Bill Friel, my spotter here on the left, but this is a good one. There's the Fox. He has got to get a good punt out of Runninger. No run back by Strump Mitchell. And then get that good defense out there and close it down. A 4-point lead. Mitchell's going to run this one back. This is not a good punt. Mitchell at the 30. Mitchell still on his feet. Mitchell to the 47-yard line. You cannot quit on number 30. A 37-yard punt and a good run back, and the Cardinals might be in business. A 2-minute 2:06 left.
Rookie, reminds me of the old cardiac Cardinals of the mid-70s. Jim Hart used to come into the ball game and shoot. When we played against them for the first 58 minutes of the ball game, who cared what happened? The last 2 minutes is the only thing that mattered with the Cardinals in those days, and he could do it. I wonder if he's flashing on that now.
Don't forget, coming up next, the Redskins up in the Northeast, the Pacific Northeast, against the Seahawks, and the Rams go to Flushing Meadow, I guess New York it's called, where Shea Stadium is sitting up there. You never know with the Jets. They may win 40-6. Hart, quick draw to number 32, who's plowing ahead. Picks up about 9 yards on the first run. Bill Cowher making the stop there. Wow, 2-minute warning. Cardinals still have timeouts. They're running out of time. At least that's what the Fox hopes.
Or if you're a little closer down, you could play them a little tighter.
You're right, and the field goal won't help. The Cardinals got to go for a touch. Shotgun. The big rush. It's dumped to Anderson. Anderson has the first down. All on individual effort. He did a drag job with 2 linebackers that time to get the first.
Hurry up, they're doing it from the line of scrimmage.
They still have one they can burn, but they're walking it back.
Philadelphia's only got 4 defensive backs in the ball game.
Offsides, the right defensive end jumped early. It's a free one. There's Roy Green short of the first down. The clocks will stop on the infraction, and the Cardinals have a choice.
Rookie, you think the quarterback, when he sees that guy jump off sides like that, he knows that and he should throw the ball deep right there, right?
Why not? You can't have anything wrong with it, I guess.
What if he's wrong? What if his offensive guy pulled him off, possibly?
Well, Hanifin would have shot the quarterback.
On the spot.
The coaches say, I don't care how you do it. If you can score, though, I would appreciate it. Let's see what this is. Dreith is talking. It looked to me like the right defensive end came. We're out of timeouts for St. Louis.
Defense, offside, declined the penalty. It's second down.
That was Greg Brown.
Well, they got 3 shots at it right here, Brookie.
Yep.
And they're to the point in the field right around the 20-yard line where the defensive backs can play them a little tighter because the deep route, the 40 and 50-yard pass.
Marion Campbell is getting involved in the defensive call right now. Second down and 2. Shotgun. Hart. Hit. Touchdown.
There's a flag on the play.
A flag's down. This was Tilley running the post pattern. Made a diving catch. Hopkins was there.
It's against St. Louis.
Wow.
No touchdown.
Wow.
Illegal procedure on the center. He moved the ball twice. 5-yard penalty.
The center moved the ball. The rookie, Carlos Scott, moved the ball.
Not going to be able to see it from this replay. I don't see any flags down there yet. Wow, what a great pass by Jim Hart.
What a catch by Tilley.
What a ball game.
Boy, Jim Hanifin, that's not fair.
The old Murphy's Law.
2 things can happen bad to you. We get the worst of 2.
That's we probably get both of them.
A little trouble with the clock. Both teams now are standing on the sidelines. Even with the injured people, nobody's sitting. The Eagles got a break when they beat San Francisco. The 49ers scored a touchdown late, and it was called back for holding.
The clock shows 34 seconds. The referees are meeting on the field to confirm it.
Second down and 7. 34 seconds. One team is 0-3, the other team is 2-1. Shotgun. Roy Green catches a touchdown. Pass with 34 seconds, 29 seconds on the clock. You can't teach speed, and Roy Green is blazing. Wow.
Jim Hart, time in the pocket. Good job by their offensive line. You couldn't see it, but Roy Green ran a little out route and then up the field. Let's get Coach Hannafin's reaction here.
There's a 50th birthday present for you, huh?
He actually got off the ground, Brookie. There was air under his shoes.
Oh, what a thrill. For your team on the road, you're maligned at home, you're second guessed for your running back selections, and you get a touch with 29 seconds. There goes the headset.
He's going to wallow on the ground.
You betcha, Red Ryder. That is part of football, isn't it?
Still 29 seconds to go.
You got to kick very deep. O'Donohue is not a deep kickoff man. And what you have to do to take it, you've got to bring it up a little bit and then get it out of bounds. You've got 3 timeouts left. Jaworski is a good hurry-up quarterback. He's not bad. Now, you played against him. You tell me, is the 2-minute drill the Eagles have good or not?
Oh yeah, it's a good drill, especially when you only need 3 points. They don't need. All they need to do is get it to the 40-yard line or a little bit past that, and Franklin is within range. So a kickoff return, a great kickoff return, or a couple pass plays. But 29 seconds is a short period of time.
Well, you know what Marion did though the whole week. The Eagles, the last thing they finished with was the 2-minute drill. They stayed out and did the 2-minute drill like mad. Jaworski and Pisarcik both. So if there's an advantage to being prepared for him to do this, I guess that would be it. O'Donohue. If he felt pressure like this in Ireland. Here's the kick. Mishandled, picked up by Major Everett. Everett to the 25. And the bodies are flying, and the official then called a timeout with 23 seconds left. Kurt Alleman down quickly to make the tackle. The Cardinal special teams have been very, very good.
There's the man of the hour right there, Franklin. If they can get it within his range, and he's got long range. He's kicked a 59-yarder.
Against you guys.
I thought he was kicking the other way when
he thought he was kicking the wrong direction. To win 2 games in a row or to tie up or to be involved in the last play would be highly unusual, but
there's an injured Cardinal on the field.
Farrell is down. Now Jaworski is thinking, will they pre-call plays 2 or 3? They've got 3 timeouts.
I don't think so. I think they'll just go ahead and call a play, and if it doesn't work and call time, they don't need to
get a double on Quick. You know you're going to get a double at least. Carmichael caught any passes today?
Has not caught a pass. Haven't heard anything from him today.
This has been a pillar-to-post football game. I'll tell you, they told us yesterday, Cardinals did, that they didn't come here to fool around. They were going to hit people. And if that would win a game, by golly, they thought they could out-hit Philadelphia. Philadelphia's only given up 50 points against teams that have been, you know, Denver, San Francisco, and Washington. And this team has battled them.
And also, it's a shot of the Eagle bench. Boy, they're in shock.
Defensive players have hit it a lick. They've held St. Louis now, got 27 against San Francisco, and they've only managed 14 points.
They've seen their team. They've stopped the Cardinals within the 20-yard line twice, come away with only 3 points. And then they've seen their team get the ball. They've got the ball for them at about the 8-yard line, and then turn right back around and hand the ball back to St. Louis.
I was just thinking, watching Jim Hannafin on the sidelines, that his 12-year-old boy gave him a shirt for his birthday that said, remember that? You're 50, but you're still shifty. What a play. Here we go. Shotgun. 1st and 10. Jaworski being chased and hit from behind. Curtis Greer came from the back door and almost took the ball off the quarterback's hand.
Well, the stunts are paying off for St. Louis at this point in the ball game. Jaworski in the pocket, moves forward, gets the ball knocked out. If you're not with us early in the ball game, Jaworski wouldn't even think he'd be in this situation. He gets his face blown apart and breaks his jaw or bruises his jaw. On the X-ray, he's okay, and he's back in the game. He has a chance to win it for him.
Got to have some tough blocking now from the opposition, maybe, because they're going to be twisting and coming. Watch Bubba Baker. Drops it over to Haddix. Haddix at the 40. Steps out at the 43-yard line. Remember,
a 15-yard pass will put them in field goal range, Brookie, and they've got 2 timeouts remaining.
the Aggies got his foot down there thinking about it. That's Tony Franklin. He won it with a 43-yarder against Denver. He could tie this game, but they've got to get probably to the 40-yard line, don't they? They've got to get between the 40 and the 35 somewhere to really have a legitimate shot, huh?
Got to get 20 yards from this point.
Quick, Hoover, and Carmichael. 3 outside receivers, and it's shotgun.
Defensive backs have to protect for the deep route, but then they don't want to get that 20-yard route away.
Big rush. Oliver into Cardinal territory. Nelson forced him out. Can't take any chance now. You got to tee it up and bang it. 4 seconds. You got to get a shot off. Can you wait?
You can't. There's no way they can. They've got to go for a touchdown here. That's their only chance. He can't hit that. Can he kick a field goal this far?
Well, it would be from the. It would be 52, 62 yards if they held it 7 yards from where that ball is now. 62-yarder. That puts him within 2 yards of Tom Dempsey's. And that's the one that was helium-filled. Remember, that play was 64 yards.
Would he have a bomb in his foot when he hit it?
Second half of doubleheaders coming up. I wonder if it can be as tenuous and tedious as this game is, right down to the bare knuckles. This has been a beaut. It would be a 65-yard field goal, Bill Friel explains to me. That would be a new record. I've seen him, he kicked a 67-yarder one day with off a tee.
He's not going to kick. They're bringing Jaworski back in the ball game.
Going to bring Jaworski back in?
Heck, Brookie, that'd be a new record for the longest try if they kick it from 65 yards.
I think he could make it from there. I think he has enough
interesting. I'm sorry, Brookie. You know what's interesting about this last little drive is that they hadn't used. They've still got 3 timeouts remaining. They've run plays to get out of bounds instead of getting yardage and then use your timeouts. With the new rule where anybody can call timeout, you won't waste seconds. Anybody can call a timeout.
Yeah, I follow you. Now, what are they planning on here? A defensive interference, maybe, and you can't end the game on a defensive penalty to get another shot, huh?
The only chance is a Hail Mary. Throw it up for grabs, interference, or tip.
This is probably the last play. Greer and Bubba Baker.
That's a fitting ending to how they had set it up, with the stunning defensive team playing havoc on the quarterback and making big plays, and it ended up just that way.
Floyd Peters has a psyched up defense for this man, Jim Hannaford, his first win of 1983. And that'll be a pretty happy flight back to the city on the river. Hart and Jaworski, the quarterbacks. Condolences and cheers.
There's a tough man right there, though. Get to see the last play. You'll see Baker on the left side coming in on his patented bull rush. He just overpowers Sizemore, and then Greer coming from the other side. Great pressure. Great sack.
And so the Eagles will go south with a 2-2 record, and Hannaford will go to Arrowhead Stadium with a 1-3 mark. Pretty generous guy talking to Eagle players. There's a fellow that's been on both sides of the track.
I watched him when I was in college. I watched him on a TV show. Then I come up and play. Then I played 12 years in the NFL. Now I'm out of the NFL, and I'm watching him again.
Executive producer Terry O'Neill, and you're looking at a winner. He always has been. Senior producer is Charles H. Red-Eye Milton III. Our producer, of course, Michael Burks. And Michael, it's always a pleasure. Director Andy Kendall, and glad I got to show you Philadelphia, Andy. Dan Mann, our associate director, Joe Tier, and all those that make football so darn exciting. And thanks to the players, too, for a great game. Coming up, Washington at Seattle, or the Rams against the Jets. This is Tom Brookshier for Charlie Waters, saying so long. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. And it was close, wasn't it?